And welcome back to the APL. I'm Dev. Joining me, of course, is Pengu, and we're getting into it. It's Help Us LFO versus KINOTROPE. Thanks so much to everybody for bearing with us. But we're into the game now, of course. It's Help Us LFO from Korea, the ex-PSG talent roster, up against the Japanese KINOTROPE. And we're into it. It's map 1 of the series, Chalet, in this best of 3 in the first match of the upper bracket here in APL APAC North.
So of course we gotta cover the good old operator bands right real quick because we have just zoomed through everything to get this match started. Grim and Ying removed, up from the defenders, on towards the attackers, and Melusi and Asami. So nothing too out of the norm here on Chalet. This map is gonna be a lot about taking map space. And how do you do that? Well, you take away operators and defense that deny you from taking that map space, right? That's going to be a Melusi for walking up a staircase and getting in the building, and the Asami for those extended holes here in library, for example. And then for the attackers, you want to stop them from getting in the building the same way in reverse, which means the Ying and the Grim are excellent operator bands. This has left the mirror up and available and picked here in the very first round. It's going to be your boy Soldier on it, locking down library. And in the very first round, James, well, double shield. We spoke about the slight nerfs and the slight changes, yet we see both the Muncie and BB in round number 1.
Yeah, double shield is pretty wild. Also seeing the Solid Snake, the first time we're seeing it in Kickoff. Of course, it was available for the Challenger Series, but it's very different when we're seeing the Tier 1 teams use it. I wonder how they're going to be trying to use that Solid Snake. We did mention in our pre-show, like what are the ways that can be utilized? The main strength of Solid Snake is the ability to take map control, get information for himself without having to drone. And that's what we're seeing from Gator down below. Oh, wow. Ooh. Gets an angle of Demic up above on the vert. Does a bit of damage, but he still thinks it's too dangerous to go downstairs, go up there.
Don't want to take that risk. Again, staying alive in the very first round, not falling early. It's all about that numbers advantage. And there we go, downstairs in the basement of blue. Solid Snake gets rewarded with a kill. Jungsen goes down. That's just going to be a passive util operator, but down goes the mirror as well. So big advantage here for KINOTROPE.
Yeah, this is huge. And great to see the way that Gator is using that Solid Snake to gain that map control downstairs. He's actually just holding Ryder as well, who's about to get spotted by the Deimos of Eclair. Harper's found a kill to bring something back for Help Us. Ryder trying to duel not only the player on the window, but also Gator, who sprays through the wall and gets the injure finished off by Eclair soon after. 4v2. Harper's going to have to go big, but he's found 2 shields, and the Blackbeard will quickly take him down. Demic will finish off the Monty, but immediately Kawao will reply, and KINOTROPE off to a flying start, dominating in the opening round.
It's just a great all-round round there for KINOTROPE, right? They're working the basement for the roam clear while taking library with the double shields and pretty much putting the right people in the right locations. And that's actually a very underrated skill to do at a very high efficiency level. So you see Solid Snake can go solo. It's not dependent on the drones. So it's a very free roaming operator that doesn't need much help from his teammates. Then you got Monty and Blackbeard taking library, which again, they don't need a lot of help because they're so safe. They can jump up with the Monty extended shield, punch out the mirror window, and not deal with step 1, step 2, step 3. And because they can put the right operators in the right locations where they're very strong, they can then do 2 or 3 separate things at the same time, applying so much pressure on towards Help Us LFO. Because you're still struggling in the basement, in the West Main, on the verticality, and in library. That team communication, and of course going back to the roster change of missing Misa for this former PSG talent roster, you're not going to have the most experienced player that could say, guys, this is the issue, here's the solution. It's people going, help me over here, help me over there, help me down here, and there's chaos in the server.
Yeah. Did feel like that round was kind of on Help Us, making a lot of quick moves, and KINOTROPE just being able to play the counter aggression. Love the Denari. I feel like the longer Denari is in the game, the more that people are going to find these really cheeky spots for it.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of stealing a lot of Macy J's Denari spots. Have you seen all the really cheeky ones he's found to like insta-kill people? For example, on Oregon Kids dorms, there's a rotate between attic and kids' dorms, and you can put these scenarios where you can't see them, and you run through the rotate hole and get instantly killed. I've gotten so many kills by doing things like that.
I've not seen that, but I've droned Villa in the master bedroom closet, and he's like 5 lasers below the window. I'm like, guys, do not jump in the window. Do not do it. You will die. So there's definitely some cheeky things you can do. Now, we need to see that in Pro League one day, right? Just somebody getting obliterated on a door or window or rotate.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
I would love that. Well, speaking of Denari, it's Harper going to get tracked by the Deimos really early on. I love the combo, the Solid Snake and the Deimos for KINOTROPE to hunt down these defenders, and they are forced further and further back. Of course, bomb sites in bar and gaming. A lot of map control already taken. Gadarada, once again, the first man in the building with that Blackbeard. While he's taken a bit of damage, he's gained so much map control.
And mind you, Solid Snake is an operator. It's all about the map that you're playing. There's going to be maps where he's very efficient because you can see a lot in a very close proximity. So closer, smaller maps like Border, like Chalet, etc. Where in a big map like Bank that's very open, the gadget gets much less value. So this is going to be a very map-dependent kind of operator. But Chalet is a great initial showcasing here to start things off. Ryder, who's still upside down the player cam, is holding Library Box currently. He might be the first in battles.
Nice
Walks in the blue staircase, and Nate forces him out, almost takes him down. He's just below half HP, but still staying alive.
Yeah, Akayu, he's got diffuser, so he needs to make sure not to die. He's trying to push these players out of position. The thing about Chalet is there's not a lot of safe havens, and the Monty quickly to unshield and find a kill. It's now all up to Soldier to try and hold on to the top floor, but KINOTROPE have clean swept. Help us, LFO. Just have Harper. He's found one kill, but he won't find anything more. He's being hunted by Eclair on the Deimos, who will finish him off. 2 rounds straight, the second even more dominant than the first for KINOTROPE.
KINOTROPE are just very decisive right now, and it really starts in the beginning of operator phase, right? What they're picking, again, very specific heavy counters. They want to shut down any singled isolated players on the roam on the map. That's where the Deimos and Solid Snake comes into play. And then once more, they're utilizing that double shield excellently. Again, Monty walks up the fireplace staircase and is toying with the Warden on top mezzanine. Meanwhile, Blackbeard jumps in library window, and they effectively 2v1 with the help of the frag grenades of Blackbeard and Monty going for an ADS swing. And right now, Help Us LFO, they're playing good Siege on paper. They're playing, you know, the entry denial, they're playing the mirror windows, they're playing around the map on the roam, but they're getting countered. Because they want to play around the map with all these different tools, they have less things to deal with the direct shield attackers. So that's a struggle. But then on the roam game, where they have operators like a Mossy, for example, they get completely denied by the Deimos and the Solid Snake. I want to see like a Vigil. I want to see something that counters these particular roam clearing operators. Otherwise, I fear it's going to be the same result for a third round. How is Musky, with 16 bullets by the way in his primary magazine, going to deal up against a shield and or Deimos or Solid Snake, who doesn't have the right tools?
They're also really leaning into these shields. Next round, both teams will have a chance to ban a third operator here, and for Help Us LFO, I think you've got a lot of questions. Like, is it the Deimos, which has been really good at hunting down players? Is it the shields, which have been so dominant? But again, if you're going to ban shields, like Monty, Blackbeard, both are being used very well. It's a tough spot to be in for Help Us LFO. Their first game back with the new roster. As once again, the Deimos of Eclair is spotting out Ryder on this roam. Gator is instigating this push as well, just around the corner, but there is some support from another player there in the hallway. Ryder is not alone. Yunsang is not far.
And Demic as well. And it's how they have to play it, right? Because Ryder can get spotted by Solid Snake and the Deimos, his gadget can't stop the enemy, so he needs his teammates to really play around him. But this means, look, there's much less pressure inside a library because they're helping Ryder elsewhere. Thankfully, Yunsang gets a kill. Help Us LFO, first time in a man advantage and in a good spot. They gotta have that crossfire to deny the Monty further. He's currently solo inside a library, so no real pressure. First good look here from Help Us LFO.
And we get to see the Solid Snake again utilized just to make sure that there's nobody on for a flank here on Gator. He wants to make his way forward. He knows that bar is clear now, but he's about to get the info that there is a player just around the corner outside of Mudroom, or rather inside of Mudroom. It's Yunsang. If Gator's been baited here, it's not... Oh, he's using his gadget, but a great wall bang from Yunsang. 5v3 now, as the tides begin to turn on KINOTROPE. The Monty makes his way forward, but without adequate rifles behind him, he's not going to be able to find what he's looking for. The Deimos from below cannot find the kill. Carwow and the Monty has been isolated. At the flip of the switch, the drop of a hat, help us LFO have brought this back.
Monty being alone the entire round in library, and Help Us LFO had good communication saying, guys, don't worry about the Monty. That's not going to be the real pressure point. They're doing something else for on the map. Wallbang does not connect. KINOTROPE stuck downstairs, forced to walk up Solar into a toxic babe, a triple crossfire, maybe even an Illamine at that. And the last player on the roof. Yeah, this round is gonna be completely over in the 5v2. Make that a 5v1.
Yeah, and he's not going to find anything. An exit frag might be nice, but at this point it means absolutely nothing for Akayu. Help Us LFO finally on the board with their first defense. As we finish off the first 3 rounds, another operator ban is going to come through. And yeah, well, we've got to save that 417. Those DMRs are so valuable these days.
Oh, it is a high value weapon. I like this though, right? They were obviously saying that, okay, Ryder's under so much pressure, the Deimos track came off the second it was available. And then, you know, previously, Ryder would either die or be forced to run away. But he's just playing really safe inside a kitchen, and then Youngsang in Fireplace hold one angle, and Demic on Solar Stairs hold the other. I think this could be the moment where there's a big switch up, because 2 new important operator bans just came on the table. Solid Snake removed from action means the ing has now been cleared either by a shield or by a drone. That should slow down KINOTROPE's entry capabilities, or just mean that that +1 player on Solid Snake is going to play a different operator and maybe not even entry at all, because now he needs drone information. That's going to take more effort, right? And the other one is, of course, the Mirror.
Just play Dokkaebi.
And while Mirror is a great... You could just play Dokkaebi, but like...
Dokkaebi is just a better Solid Snake.
Okay, and counterpoint, Solid Snake will run to the building, check the scanner, and then go in. Dokkaebi doesn't get the first call until 40 seconds into live action. So now I gotta run to the building, sit there for 40 seconds, or 30 seconds maybe, and then go in. So it still buys you 30 seconds of difference, which has been everything when they've been so fast in the entry, right? But you are not wrong. Dokkaebi can do a similar task, although be it a little bit slower. But the other one is the Mirror. When you play the Mirror in defense, you're thinking, ah, great. We can put a Mirror into here, play behind it, we're so strong. But I think there's actually a downside to playing Mirror, which is that in your brain you go, I need to play very static on this wall, I should not be moving. When it's like, well, now you're surrendering map control, and you're almost refusing to help your teammates that are in trouble because, oh, I need to play my Mirror window. It has this kind of negative effect at times. This could be Help Us LFO without the Mirror, playing a bit more rotational on the map, and being more willing to move around.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think Mirror is by far the most overbanned operator in ranked, because when you have a Mirror on the board, it gives you information as an attacker, right? You see a Mirror window, you're like, okay, well, I guess there's a player probably standing behind that Mirror window. And when you have a Mirror window, you have like a problem that you can solve. Bring a gadget. And as soon as a Mirror window is opened or counted, it's really calamitous for the defense. But of course, KINOTROPE banning it just gives them more options. And banning out both the Mirror and the Azami are the 2 main power position creating operators on that defensive side.
Yeah.
So I can see why you want to do that. It really gives Help Us LFO a lot of things to think about in terms of creating those power positions. Makes it much harder to do so. At the moment, they're just trying to stay alive on the bomb site, because all of these positions Demic have been playing has been eliminated, have been really peeled apart. The layers, the breach on the wall into stock, for example. KINOTROPE are poised to try and jump in.
It's very plannable. Like, you can fire and smoke the journal, but we can jump on in. There's no real plan denial. Smoke is playing in Smithsony in top floor, so this could be an easy plan there. Bumps out rush potentially. They know nothing can stop them. They know stock is clear. The only real counterplay is, again, it's Soldier on top floor. This could just work. They're gonna get that final drone in there. Make sure that they're not getting baited because it looks too easy.
Oh, but an opening kill onto the poles. Gatorada finds it, and Carwow goes in. Perfect timing there with the quick aim down sights, thanks to the iron sight on the Blackbeard. And Akayu will start forcing that plant down with the Blackbeard to cover. Help Us LFO stuck on the top floor, fired out of the bomb site. Carwow finds a second, looks for another one, finally traded back. Help Us LFO. We're in an awkward spot though. That diffuser is in such an exposed position. KINOTROPE can continue falling back. Good shot from Harper. Gatorada goes down. Overstayed his welcome inside. Didn't get into a post-plant position. No gas babes, no util of any sort to try and protect against this post-plan. And with Ryder getting taken down to the upside down rappel, Harper finds another one. Just needs to take out Eclair and get on this plant, but he's not going to have time. He doesn't have the info. And a post-plant from Eclair locks in the former coach to find another round for KINOTROPE.
And again, KINOTROPE showing such great fundamentals. First 2 rounds is an operator pick selection and how they pick apart the map. In that 4th round, it's actually all about the post plant. I feel like the reason the bomb got down in the first place is due to Helpers LFO having some shortcomings on defense. There's a reason why almost every team plays the smoke instead of stock room, because you cannot deny the shield plant. If there's a glass rush, a ying rush, whatever obstacle that they throw at you for the bomb site, smoke can shut it down. When you play an Ella who has to just swing you off the rotate on the door here, you just die and lose. That's kind of how the round plays out. So the bomb goes down because Helpers LFO didn't have the correct setup, if you will, but KINOTROPE played it so well after the fact. Playing Blackbeard deep inside of stock bomb side, locking that down. Then having a person upside down rappel on the bomb side window, having a 3rd guy in library. That means they have bomb side control, they have outside the bomb side control, and they vertically also have it from above. Helpers LFO would need to play that better than perfect to have a fighting chance in the post plant.
5 seconds to insertion.
It makes you wonder what's going to happen in the rest of this half, right? Help Us LFO have only won 1 bomb site. It was upstairs in Master. Now they don't even have to mirror for that extended hold. I don't know, they're going to need to play wall denial on bar if they go back there to, you know, prevent the stock wall from being opened up by Ace. Are they going to have to try and play more passively now that they don't have the mirror and there's army to hide behind? Are they going to have to play more aggressively? Would we ever see them go down to the basement, for example?
Tough call to make, right? Alright guys, they're taking quick map space. Let's hide on the bomb side and play passive. It sounds weird, but at the same time, if you're playing close up at the bomb side and playing wall denial, you're gonna have more crossfires and a lower chance of, you know, getting to a 4v5 because that one roamer died, for example. So I think right now, I definitely can see the problem-solving aspect here being the biggest obstacle for Helpers LFO and strategy, how they want to play these beginning rounds. KINOTROPE, I think, just keep doing the same thing. We have seen them going from double shield to double util, bringing stuff like the Capital and Gridlock, locking down staircase and pushes, getting the fire and smoke, rabble on in. This looks relatively free for the taking. Again, Helpers LFO surrendering map space. The Thorn Trap Razor Bloom doing a fair bit of damage onto Kawa.
Yeah, and the track stingers are going to make this a little bit awkward for Help Us LFO. They can't aggressively swing this door without shooting those tracks. They can't go for a flank onto Carwell. You're saying he is going to shoot some of the tracks because he figures revealing his position is worth it to try and put that extra perceived pressure on. Good map control, though, for KINOTROPE. Holding onto these solar stairs. Flashes go in. Yinsang is going to fall back a little bit. Demic there to support. Has another Thorn Trap in his pocket. He's actually going to put that on the stairs and maybe go for an aggressive play. The nade keeps him at bay, prevents him from peeking on the back of that. And I believe the Thorn Trap must have been shot before it detonated.
I think so. Bit of a tough spot though. I mean, Kawa's been on that solar stairs the entire time. Eclair helping from the western windows, but they can't collapse and get the first kill. Harper gets one, traded right back.
And Harper has been a demon with this Scorpion, but he's finally taken down into the 3v3. KINOTROPE very close to the bomb site, now in deep. With Eclair on the Capital, firing off one of the entrances. But the problem here is KINOTROPE is they don't have vertical capability here. They don't have control of the top floor. So Help Us LFO could potentially deny from above, but they don't manage to find where that plant is going down. A lack of information and a lack of vertical holes is forcing Ryder to put them down late. But now it's a retake in an almost impossible position. An aggressive jump outside, but Yinsang finds nothing. KINOTROPE looked pretty solid in the post plan until Demic finds one.
Curious now though about the best player is back to a 2v2. Eclair has that bomb set on lock.
Yeah, and the time is ticking away. KINOTROPE have played this so well just by being patient, by biding their time. Demic and Yinsang baiting for picks, but the time has ticked away and it's done. A little tap through the wall onto Eclair, doesn't find the kill. Demic has no time, it's just exit frags, and KINOTROPE lock in yet another round. 4-1 is the score, and a dominant half is about to conclude. This round is so important, so decisive for Help Us LFO. They can't afford to lose it.
So a very small thing there that actually almost maybe defined the entire round. The master bedroom hatch was reinforced in the prep phase by Help Us LFO. And they were playing in the beginning pretty heavy by the bomb side. Again, they surrendered Solarium stairs, they were falling back, etc. And then we saw two things happen. They were playing by the bomb side, and they were trying to flank in master bedroom. But it turns out that the bomb side was a little bit too weak. KINOTROPE gets that initial kill, then they push in deep in towards kitchen, plant right below the hatch essentially, and that's where we see the lack of information. Like you said, they didn't know where the plant was going down. Well, usually you can't even plant where KINOTROPE planted because there's a damn hatch above you that's open. But this was one of those very rare moments where you reinforce the master bedroom hatch and you're enabling a whole new plant location. Something that I think Help Us LFO didn't fully plan for, didn't fully communicate, because they were doing verticality in all the wrong areas, expecting a default plant spot. Well, guys, when you change the strat from a default reinforcement position, you are gonna open up some non-default plant spots. So they got punished by their own reinforcement. It happens. When you're doing new things, this tends to be the case sometimes.
I think it's credit to KINOTROPE for them to be adaptable, right? No longer do we play this kind of like more static siege. You've got to mid-round be like, okay, well, this reinforcement is here. That protects us for this reason. Let's adapt our plant spot as a result. It's minor details like that that win and lose rounds at the top level.
KINOTROPE also very good at applying this kind of phantom pressure, as we like to call it, right? Opening windows and doors and not really doing anything with it. And now they opened the bathroom window a long time. Oh, the timing, Seeds timing, this peak. The second the swing goes through and the rotate from Demic, the DMR goes on ADS. And you see how Demic has no idea that Dokubi's on the roof holding him. They opened that window a long time ago. Phantom pressure. There could be a guy watching it. Maybe there isn't. Demic has gotten away with his life though twice, crossing that from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Holding onto Solarium. KINOTROPE have good information. Leclerc takes down Demic finally from that bathroom balcony.
I think he was actually downstairs looking through the vert up from the west main.
Was it vert that got him?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell by the time.
That or he dropped right when he got the kill.
Yeah. Either way, it's a big opening kill, and Help Us LFO, they really need it. Of course, this is also their map pick. KINOTROPE want to take us to Fortress. I don't see any vert, so perhaps he just died from the window there. Warden going down, Ryder is low HP. Dokubi call rings out. KINOTROPE are really ramping up the pressure once again, but Ryder on 1 HP, still got a dream. He takes down Eclair. The Glaz has come to life for Ayagator, Carwow as well. Just 2 players left for Help Us LFO as KINOTROPE lock down these solar stairs. The pressure is on. The bomb site is about to get flooded. Help Us LFO need to get back onto it ASAP.
And Ryder knows C4 downstairs, has to go for a big kill right now on the hatch with 16 bullets, and a dream doesn't connect, the fire on the floor, and plant going down.
He's got no util, but a big swing from Yinsang. Ryder through the vert, managed to deny that plant. Now, KINOTROPE have to reposition. They have to make a choice first, though. Do they hunt down these 2 remaining players, or do they look to try and recollect that diffuser? They find Ryder down below, finally finished off, and Akayu finishes off not just the round, but the half. It's a 5-1 domination in the books for KINOTROPE.
Right back in the action, we are 5-1 half for KINOTROPE with very decisive attacking half at that, and a very impressive showing. Help us LFO, now they will go into the attacking side and they gotta show us that they can do an equally impressive feat. Otherwise, this first map will be over very soon.
Now, Nick, since it is our first broadcast of APL Kickoff, maybe there's a lot of people watching wondering, well, guys, why did you have a little break just then? Why is it that we didn't just continue straight into the second half? And the astute watchers will know that we've actually got a little bit of a new rule, a little bit of a new feature in the Rainbow Six Esports rulebook. So it's now going to be standard for every match here at the Tier 1 level that we're going to have 120-second, 2-minute breaks, tactical timeouts, essentially, between each half in each game.
It's very... So, we spoke about this maybe being a possibility quite a while ago, actually, in terms of like theory crafting it, you know, from caster perspectives, being told what do you guys feel about this. The former player in me kind of loves it and kind of hates it at the same time. I'll tell you why, right? I think it is phenomenal that you can talk with your coaching support staff and theorize mid-game as you go from defense to attack. Because the way that it has always worked in Pro League before is that you prepare for both defense and attack before the match even starts. But obviously, you're going to talk the most about the side that you're on, because that's where you're going to spend the first 6 rounds. Arguably the most important to get a round advantage, of course. Now, you can do both. Talk about your first round, and you have 2 minutes in the middle that we just had, and then talk about the second half. Phenomenal. But what if you go up 5-0? What if you're destroying your opponent, and they get 2 minutes to breathe? I'm not sure I'm a fan of that one, but I think it's the phenomenal system. Happy to see it being tested.
Don't make me punch you.
Love new things, whether it's changes to the in-game format, like when we saw the new ban system, or the ability to talk for the coaches during the bans, or new tactical timeouts. Anything that makes already this beautifully tactical game more tactical is fantastic. Of course, it's a big change now as the teams have swapped sides. KINOTROPE on the defense, Help Us LFO, trying to fight back after a devastating start on that defensive side, but they're also going to lose the opening pick. Aggressive from Carwow. I didn't see where that Thorn found the kill with the C75, but no Yunsang, no Lion. It's not a great start for Help Us.
It is tough. And the thing about KINOTROPE right now is that they have such an impressive spread of operators on the attacking side, being very flexible. Then right off their on defense, they're just going full trap and info denial, essentially saying, help us LFO, have fun getting inside the building. And this is a very smart thing to do when you're having your first couple of rounds on defense. It's just kind of testing your opponent. How efficient are you? You know, help us LFO, they're quote-unquote a new team. Yes, it's the 3-man core from the previous PSG Talent roster, but it is going to be a new iteration with some new names here, Endemic and Hopper. So they're not going to have the most solid paper strategies, maybe, but they ramble on in, they find the first inch, and with that, they're in the building.
Oh, but at bay, Endemic is kept by Aegator, a soldier using the glass, using the last of his smokes to take a little bit of control. Harper moving forward deep into the bomb site. The Glaz needs to rotate back and try and support. Ryder is still outside. Soldier on the Glaz is the one with that diffuser, and he's into a suitable plant spot. And so he starts forcing that plant down. Akayu is going to try and bring it out the smokes. The Toxic Babe will actually make him move. He still does survive, though, low HP. He looks for another spot to plant. Akayu doesn't know about it. This is going to have to be a retake now as another gas goes out. 4v3, but Harper evens up the score. Help Us LFO look to try and hold it in the post, but Akayu's making his way forward, and the shotgun does the damage required. Around the corner, waits Soldier. Is Akayu going to have the info? He doesn't seem to be cautious, doesn't seem to be wary of this Glaz just loitering the other side of the soft wall. Low HP, but Soldier is going to get a freebie. Needs to reposition now. Ryder outside on the window. Aegator and Gatorada, the OG CAG duo, need to get back into it, but Soldier and Ryder together clutch up massively for Help Us LFO.
And the most important part there is Soldier finding the plant spot, right? He's playing by the massive doom closet thinking, okay, default plant spot it's gonna be. But the Toxic Bay comes out. He takes only one singular take of damage, which is super important because he could only survive 3, as he was very low on health. And then he figures out, actually, this smoke is designed to just hit the default plant position and nothing else. If I go a little bit forward and actually plant by the solar wall, it's not gonna hit me. And that's the only thing that they're using to deny the planter. So essentially, Soldier took a high risk because yes, he avoids the Toxic Babe, but if anybody swung him or anybody made an aggressive move in bathroom or by the master bedroom closet, he would get seen and killed. But it works out. Post plant is great. Soldier playing by that rotate, found 1 kill, and then a second later on even.
Yeah, if anything, it surprises me how passively KINOTROPE were playing there. They had a numbers advantage 4v3, but they just let Help Us LFO have full control of Master. They let them look for a plan. Was it a lack of info when they didn't go for a second smoke, didn't go for the retake early? I mean, the best time, right? You're in a 4v3. The best time to try and peek and retake, in theory, is while that plant's going down, because a 4v3 is essentially a 4v2 while someone is planting that diffuser. But they didn't move until after that diffuser was down.
We're thankfully spaced in the smoke when that was happening. It looked like they didn't hear that the plant was going down. And I think what happened is he touched that first Toxic Babe. And in your mind, you go, okay, for the next 10 to 12 seconds, they cannot go for a plant attempt. And only maybe 5 to 6 seconds had passed. So the smoke is sitting there going, they physically cannot be planting. It's not possible, right? But because Soldier found that tiny gap in the smoke going a little bit more forward, they were in fact planting. So the second Toxic Babe was way too late. The plant goes down. And then they were just kind of waiting for the teams to go back up to the Solarium stairs to go for a swing together. But it was too late because Soldier got the kill playing by the rotation towards office and shut down the smoke. Then he goes deep office and Riders and Big Window repel. That means that even if you're flanking Solarium, even if you're flanking Bathroom for that retake, you got a really difficult gunfight in front of you. And defenders, like we saw, had no real information. They had no idea where Rider was playing from either. So I think LFO just had the upper hand there.
And that extended deeper into the post plan as well, didn't it? Remember Glaz hiding on the other side of that soft wall? Again, a lack of info for KINOTROPE. Had they known that the Glaz was in that spot, then it would have been pretty easy for them. Yeah, free kill, right? Like, even if you just knew he was somewhere in Master, you're probably checking your corners a bit more. Or even just 2v1ing these positions. But yeah, unfortunately for KINOTROPE, they were just a little bit too separated. They didn't trade out many of the kills in that retake, and it ended up looking pretty desperate for them. So Help Us LFO, they got a second round. 2-5 is still not a great position to be in, especially considering they did lose the opening kill in that round. In fact, they've only won opening kills in 2 of the rounds of the whole game so far, of the 7 that we've played. So KINOTROPE is still well in the lead.
The thing about this BO3, looking at it from like a 3-mapper perspective, right, is that KINOTROPE, I would probably say, looking at the gameplay right now, they have the upper hand on Chalet. Fortress being a very new map still is a bit of a toss-up. That could be where Help Us LFO might actually just shine. But then, if we need to, we go to Clubhouse, the most fundamentally and strategically sound map in the entire map pool. And that's where I'm looking at Chalet and going, KINOTROPE wins that. So I really need to see Help Us LFO, even if they lose here in Chalet, just show us a bit more, get a couple of rounds on the board, get comfortable in this, what could be a long BO3 session, to have a good shot at this one. Because otherwise, if we're looking at Chalet, I just don't know about Clubhouse. And Fortress being new, it's anybody's ball game, but you need 2 maps in a BO3.
Yeah, especially considering that KINOTROPE picked Fortress. It's one of those maps where if you haven't scrimmed it much, then it plays out very differently to how you'd expect, right? Old Fortress is not even slightly similar to the new Fortress. We saw a lot of it at SI. I mean, Nick, we got lucky enough to cast FaZe versus Secret. What was that, 22 rounds of Fortress? Something like that? Or was it 22?
It was a good amount.
23, 24?
It was not. It was nah. Wait, I can go by shit, but I don't think it was that much. But it was pretty good. No, actually, was it 22? Was it
12?
Was it 12-10?
I think.
I want to say it was 12-10.
Let me see. I think
Well,
I got the tab open somewhere.
It might be actually. And I mean, we saw Doom just had a phenomenal, we call it a live game. You know, he brought it back for his team.
2 1v3s, right?
Oh,
it was the final score was 11-9. So
it's 11-9. Okay.
Yeah, 11-9. So I think that means it's not the longest map of all time in a 6 Invitational final, because I think that goes to 6 Invitational 2019, right?
Yeah.
You guys versus Empire, G2 Empire.
That was 10-12, no?
Yeah, I think it was.
I actually don't know.
Liquipedia is dead. It won't show me the score. That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it was 12-10 for that game. that's that you played in 2019. But yeah, second longest game ever, and we saw a lot of Fortress at SI. We saw a lot of Fortress in those 20 rounds, and we know Fortress is it's a hard map to play if you don't know the meta, if you're not up to date with it, if you haven't been scrimming it actively. Now, we don't know whether these Help Us LFO guys have it in their map pool. We don't know if it's a map that they particularly like or dislike, but KINOTROPE, they're the ones that want to take us
they have
there.
it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the question is, it could be in their map pool. Are they good at it? I don't know. Are they confident in it? I don't know.
That's the other question. Yeah, I mean, so KINOTROPE, they were a team that we've been watching the last, year and a half or something like that, being like, okay, these guys might make a splash domestically and have a pretty good consistent showing. And I feel like when we first cast them, actually, I think from memory, they started off on a decent track, and then they kind of fell off a cliff. And then they've been kind of struggling ever since, I feel like. I know it's very early days, right? We're talking a couple of rounds, we're talking Shelly attacking side, whatever. But I generally really like what we saw in the first 5 or 6 rounds from them here in Chile. It was a good look from a new roster.
Yeah. A lot of confidence on the attack, a lot of aggression on the attacking side, and that's great, especially like you said, because
flexibility, playing different operators, yeah.
And that's hard when you've had 3 roster changes, not just 2, but 3 roster changes. One of which was a player that was retired in Gatorada, and one of which was a player that's been a coach up until very recently, Eclair. I mean, way back in the day on Crest and all that, Eclair was a player, then moved to Scars and started coaching. Now he's back onto a playing roster again. He's been good. Ayagator was very aggressive on the attacking side, very confident. I was just a little bit surprised that aggression didn't translate to defense for any of these players. Like I said before, 4v3, and you've given up bomb site control, at least one of the bomb sites, that you'd think that you'd be playing a little bit more actively in a situation like that.
That's the exciting part about, once we get back into the game, is what's the next 3-4 rounds gonna look like from KINOTROPE's defenses? Are they gonna be super structured and plan denial oriented on defense, but then super fast on the entry and attacking side? Because that's gonna give you 2 very different playstyles on the different sides, which can be hard to adapt to in the middle of a game. On the other hand, what if this is them saying, we thought Help Us LFO would struggle with problem solving, losing their former IGL and Misa. So what if we just don't do anything and let them problem solve and they'll just get stuck in the map? But then we saw Help Us LFO not struggle and not get stuck and actually just play well.
Yeah. I know. One thing I'm liking from Help Us LFO is, despite, like you said, having a different IGL, they are bringing cool ideas to the table. Not every day you get to see a Glaz, especially when it's a less simple, clear-cut usage of a Glaz. It doesn't take a lot of inspiration to say, guys, let's bring a Glaz, spam all our smokes and rush and execute. No, this was a Glaz where it was all about, the niche aspect of using it and the confidence to know that even once we've used our smokes, you're still confident with that DMR, confident switching onto the Bearing 9 if you have to. Oh, maybe you're even bringing the Gon 6 if you're a real baller. Looks like we're back into it, though.
Yes, but I think the bans are from the previous sites.
Okay. Unlucky.
So we got a redo.
Yeah, they've still got
Gotta hit a little redo. But no, Glass did everything. Glass was literally entry in Solarium, planted, and then got 2 kills in the post plant. That was a soldier round. That was literally just soldier being soldier, doing soldier things. And it's funny because soldier was, for a good portion of the PSG talent run, kind of like a shield 1 trick, playing a lot of Blackbeard, a lot of Munty, a lot of Blitz, and then, like any shield player, you go through this moment where you struggle in the shield and then you go off other operators and try and reinvent yourself. I feel like this could also be soldier reinventing himself, maybe long term if he's off the shields finally and have a bit more flexibility. But before we find out whether he's going to play more shields or not, we're going to go to a quick break. Do not go anywhere.
windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kick goes cold, that'll be devastating. The grenade goes through, there's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs.
Cyber, wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off Tick. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Got another one for Solotov. Information from the Bees. He goes in. Shotgun. They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stim pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant. That's play of the year in my book.
Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the
he gets it.
There's the dash. He doesn't have the confirmation. He's going back. He's not quite sure. He
Esky gotta go.
A few seconds. Stick it, Ness. Stick it.
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ella. He spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC. Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necrox, the final defender against Vertical. The ace, absolute domination.
Believe in magic, Michael.
They've come out windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kick goes cold, that'll be devastating. The grenade goes through, there's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs.
Cyber, wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off Tick. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Got another one for Solotov. Information from the Bees. He goes in. Shotgun. They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stim pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant. That's play of the year in my book.
Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the
he gets it.
There's the dash. He doesn't have the confirmation. He's going back. He's not quite sure. He
Esky gotta go.
A few seconds. Stick it, Ness. Stick it.
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ella. He spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC. Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necrox, the final defender against Vertical. The ace, absolute domination.
Believe in magic, Michael. Team 1 does as they win the Mexico Major.
'26 is starting on a very high note. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan for FPS Day X.
We've got the APAC Cup, the 1v1 nows, and of course the grand finals of the Tier 2 North Rebellion, plus stacks of community awards and fashion shows. The Japanese crowd have been unbelievable.
This event as a whole, the location, the people, everyone's been super nice. The food, of course, here in Japan, absolutely amazing. Great to be back for a second time, and yeah, hopefully can make it a third at some point. We really need a major back in Japan, so hopefully we can get that at some point in time.
It's been an absolute privilege to be a part of this event, and certainly can't wait to do more of it in the future.
The view here is absolutely insane here in this amazing tower. We just wrapped up the Rebellion Grand Final, the Tier 2 event here for APAC North. Absolutely banging Grand Final. We were actually, Jake and I, really surprised at the quality of Siege on offer, and very excited to get ready for the Grand Final, which again should be really, really good and highlight some quality APAC Siege. Of course, yesterday, Jake and I casted a really big upset, Soul's Heart.
2026 is starting on a very high note. I'm here in Tokyo, Japan for FPS Day X.
We've got the APAC Cup, the 1v1 nows, and of course the grand finals of the Tier 2 North Rebellion, plus stacks of community awards and fashion shows. The Japanese crowd have been unbelievable.
This event as a whole, the location, the people, everyone's been super nice. The food, of course, here in Japan, absolutely amazing. Great to be back for a second time, and yeah, hopefully can make it a third at some point. We really need a major back in Japan, so hopefully we can get that at some point in time.
It's been an absolute privilege to be a part of this event, and certainly can't wait to do more of it in the future.
The view here is absolutely insane here in this amazing tower. We just wrapped up the Rebellion Grand Final, the Tier 2 event here for APAC North. Absolutely banging Grand Final. We were actually, Jake and I, really surprised at the quality of Siege on offer, and very excited to get ready for the Grand Final, which again should be really, really good and highlight some quality APAC Siege. Of course, yesterday, Jake and I casted a really big upset, Soul's Heart taking down Fear X. Didn't anticipate them to win that match, and they got it done in 2, which was really awesome to see from their perspective.
The Japanese crowd have been unreal. I can't wait to see if CAG can deliver for the Japanese fans against Soul's Heart in our APAC Cup Grand Final.
Trust the bomb set, they just keep doing it. I9 for a double, and now it's out of blue.
And it's time to send it deep for I9.
All the timing.
Straight into the bomb site. He takes a few padded bullets from Moto. Kali trying to be the hero for CAG when his team needs him. But Didi is the last one standing. And a flawless round is one hell of a way to do it. 3 years since their last appearance on an international stage. And Soul's Heart are champions here in APAC. Welcome back to the APL. We're back into it, Nick. We had a little bit of a break, but we, of course, resume. We've just kicked off the second half. Help Us LFO really struggled in the first half. It was a 1-5 on their defense. Their first attack actually wasn't half bad.
It wasn't. It was actually quite all right, if you will. Might have started off a little bit rough, but then it got better very quickly. I was Soldier mostly clutching up and having a great individual performance. Let's see if he himself or his teammates can do the same thing for their second attacking round. He's on the glass once again, by the way. So speaking of him being a one-trick shield player, he's now a one-trick glass player. I like this. I actually think glass, personally, just a personal note here, right? I think glass is underrated, right? You ban the ward and you play the glass. What are they gonna do? Play Maestro? Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way.
Yeah. It's my favorite thing to do in ranked as well, is ban that Warden instead of that Mirror in the first round. And then, you know, if they want to ban out the Glaz and the Ying, you know, they've got to invest so much into banning all the different operators that are really powerful when there's no Warden. And look, if they want to bring a Maestro, you just bring the Brava. Yunsang's doing that right now. Brava is also really good against Echo, who's being played by Akayu right now. Also really good against the Malusi, which Eclair has brought to the table. So I think the attack here have a lot of really good ingredients.
Yokai drone is pushing the glass outside the building. Literally in spawn, by the way. Now, 3 Yokai drones. That was the kind of recent addition, right? Echo got a 3rd Yokai instead of only having 2. So you can actually be a bit more aggressive and risk losing them. Claymore takes Gatorator's life actually pretty early on the 2 Brows. A bit of a misstep from his end, perhaps. Half the timer burnt so far, and Help Us LFO making decent progress. Getting a Slayer Rappel, locking down the trophy window. Already shooting 1 or 2 of the Yokais from Echo, so less plant denial. And this time there's no smoke from KINOTROPE either. So the only way they can stall things out is going to be that singular C4 in the pocket of Kawa, who's on very low health.
Now Claire's in a good spot though, but he's revealed by the bees. He has to fall back, and he does, all the way deep into Piano and back into Office. So the top floor almost fully seceded here by KINOTROPE.
Yeah.
Of course, the bomb site just below it in Kitchen, feeling a lot of pressure are KINOTROPE right now.
It's very smart. They actually reinforced the double trophy wall in the middle of the round. And that means when Glass jumps in, you see, there was a rotate here once, or at least a peak hole. Now it's completely closed off. And there's no hard destruction from the attack inside. This final smoke unit has to find some value from Soldier to get inside that bomb site.
Good kill from Akayu. Claire's been finally found. I believe that was Demic all the way up on the rappel above. A shot down into the Kitchen below. Soldier's in a bit of a pickle as well. Carwow on the bomb site is the only one remaining now for KINOTROPE. They might have dominated in the first half, but the second half is looking a lot better now for Help Us LFO. 2 attacks in a row. The second one even more convincing than the first, and they're starting this comeback train.
They are. I mean, it kind of starts off with KINOTROPE losing a body in a very early way, and maybe a bit silly as well. Now, we didn't see exactly what happened, but when a 2-Brow dies to a Claymore, you always have to wonder in your back of your mind, did he use the 2-Brow freeze trying to, you know, deny that Claymore from working? Because it acts as a mute jam when you freeze a gadget. Or did he not see it? Did he jump out, etc.? That's the big question mark. Because KINOTROPE in the very first defensive round, we were kind of being a little bit thinking, well, they're playing too passive. They're giving too much map space. Well, this time in the second round for them, they're actually very aggressive and kind of in the face of Help Us LFO, but then they get punished for that as well. So KINOTROPE having a very common problem here in Chalet defense, which is how do we play the correct pacing? Because this is going to be an attacker's heaven kind of map. Now, the more operator bans you go through, or the more adaptations you learn on your own, you're going to start figuring out the different solutions for different problems. Okay, they're playing glass every round. Let's, you know, maybe bring some of those key counter operators. But then what happens if Help Us LFO, they start playing double shields? Then you got to get a different set of tools for the job. So as long as Help Us LFO keep adapting and changing up their attacking style, they're going to keep KINOTROPE guessing. And they've done that, because Soldier is now back on his most, I would say, recognized operator for the last 2 years, which is that Monty.
Always scary, seeing a good multiplayer on the shield. Yunsang on the... Oh, wow. Sorry. Right is taken down. Yeah, very aggressively from Gator, I think this is a good move from KINOTROPE, right? Help Us LFO clearly have some good plans. You need to take the fight to them, prevent them from getting a chance to execute. Soldier immediately responds by pushing this Goyo back with the Montaigne. But it's not just Ryder, but Harper who's gone down as well. And now Yunsung, as Gator swings for a second, Soldier will trade him on back with the pistol from the Montaigne. But it's just him, the shield, and Demic left remaining for Help Us LFO. A lot of aggression from KINOTROPE, and before you know it, they essentially have a round in the bag, which, if they can convert, would mean match point.
I mean, all you have to do now if you're KINOTROPE is establish a crossfire. Essentially do the body system or the duo system. Basically, in a 4v2, you have 2 defenders play together in 2 separate areas. That way, you're playing 2v1 and 2v1, or at the very worst case, you're playing 2v2 if both attackers are coming in that same area of the map. So just don't wide swing, don't throw your bodies, play the crossfires. That's what's going to counter the Monty as well. Monty will go in, and then you're going to be Demic behind him with the gun. KINOTROPE should see this happening. They're going to fall back, surrender map space, step by step. They have 3 Toxic Babes, Razor Thorns on Blooms on Thorn rather, and then a C4 as well.
This Nitro Cell prepared by Gatorada. Oh, good flash, so that's one of the only ways to deal with the shield that Demic has available to him. Spots out the Mozzie for a brief moment, but both of these players from Help Us LFO are on the same staircase. They don't have control above of them. As Gatorada is still alive and on the mezzanine, Eclair and Library as well. They'll try and isolate these fights one at a time. Soldier trying to push Gatorada into the crosshairs of Demic, and it finally works. 50 seconds to play. They're one step closer to evening this up. Eclair has finally dropped out of Library and down onto site. This is the right move. Demic only has 2 Selmas left. He's got to decide how to dedicate these. And Help Us LFO have got to decide how they're going to look for an execute.
Soldier's gonna wish he had smoke grenades right now, where he's playing secondary pocketing pieces, gets you no real value, can't cut off the crossfires. Could go for a drop, but let's be honest, into Toxic Babes, into Barbed Wire, Goyo 5 popped as well, so he's taking a lot of damage. He actually jumped the hatch, he's down there.
Oh, he's finished off as well. The Thorn Trap did a lot of damage, and the gas finished him off. Demic in a 1v3 as he finds the first. Almost impossible for him to now find both of the other 2, and Carwow has rotated back up above and taken hatch control. So it is another round for KINOTROPE. They're first on the defensive side, and the only one that they needed to get themselves on that point.
It is such good roaming from Gator there. I mean, getting 2 kills on the Goyo, then get it traded by the Monty, it is so worth it. So incredible high value on the solo roam. It was him jumping out his window, falling back into towards, the dining hallway, going for a second swing. He could have just fallen back, but he thought, you know what? I am a +1 operator, right? I put down all my Goyo canisters. If I die, my utility lives on. I can go for that aggressive play and maybe just win the round right here, right now. That's exactly what ended up happening. Now, it has been Soldier doing a lot of heavy lifting on the attack inside, like we mentioned. 2 rounds on Glass, 1 round on Monty. Him being one of the only people seeming to find kills and safe shelter getting inside the building. This could just mean that Help Us LFO needs to slow down a little bit on the other players around the map. Let Soldier do that first step of getting in, and then you follow Soldier. Because where he tends to go is where they found success. Everywhere else around, that's not around him, they tend to fall early.
Yeah, it's nice to see Gatorada really coming back into his career with a little bit of fire, which was nice. Of course, we've talked a lot about these old CAG players, these veterans of the game, and the new homes that they found on other teams, players like Gator and Gatorada, and Gator being so instrumental in that last round for KINOTROPE. I love when we get to see people's houses / apartments where they live with these player cams. Looks like he's playing in his kitchen. That's his fridge, his microwave on top of the fridge. Looks like he needs to do the dishes, though.
Hey, no, listen, that's the thing, right? We can get a little insight into the pro players' backgrounds, but we can't judge them. That's like people go, you gotta make your bed, buddy, you're on camera, come on. What if you haven't made your bed once in your entire life? And then now it's like, oh, I gotta make my bed for the camera? That's fake, Come on.
I would judge you. Like, if you've never made your bed before in your life, then, you should learn.
Do you make your bed every morning?
Yes.
I don't.
That's not an unusual thing.
Kinds of people. There There are two kinds of people in this world. They're the ones that wake up and think, oh my god, I can't wait to leave my warm, nice, cozy bed just to make it and then be cold. Then there's the other one, me, that goes, you just flip it off your body, it kind of lands half on the floor, and you just walk downstairs and you start your day.
Okay, well, firstly, I make my bed so that I start my day with a win. Thank you very much. It's like immediately everything is in its right place. You know, you get up, you're like, okay, put my bed there. Now it's waiting for me when I get to come back later. Secondly, if I just chucked all of my bed on my floor, like all of my sheets and stuff, I have a dog. It would be covered in dog hair, or my dog would go and sit on it, and then it would be covered in. That's not it. If you have a dog, you get it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
That's fair. Just the final note. You say you start your day with a win, but that's not what I'm feeling right now, because I start my day at 8:55, and by 9 I'm queuing ranked and I'm winning. Okay, I'm getting elo.
Yeah.
We're
what time did you start your day today?
Well, today I woke up at 3:25 a.m. and now we're here sharing this lovely time together, James.
That sounds like starting your day with a win to me.
That's starting a day with a win right there. Now, you might be thinking, operator bans, they're a little bit empty, right? They've actually happened. They're just not, dotted into the machine right now. We just saw Thorn and Grim getting banned. Okay, so it's Mira, Asami, Thorn, Blackbeard, Deimos, Grim. Try and keep that in mind, okay? So it's gonna be less, setting up, the room that we saw, the Mira and the Asami that's gone, holding Library, holding Solarium a little bit harder. And then Thorn is going to get banned to enable the Ying and the Glass right now from Helpless LFO. On the other side, they've banned away one Shield and Blackbeard, the Deimos for Entry, and the Grim for Bump Set Execute.
I like that. As you said, the Ying and the Glass are both going to be pretty deadly. Oh, good vertical angle from Ayagator. He finally gets the kill onto Soldier, and that's goodbye to the Glass. Looking to try and get a repeat downstairs. It's Harper on the Ying. Rolling out a Candela, and he's caught out by Yunsang on the other side. Ayagator finally finished off, but it's taken a lot of time and cost a lot of utility for Help Us LFO.
Might just be worth, though. Yunsang good for a second. Got a rider on the flank, but gets caught off. Yep, by a rider downstairs. So this Help Us LFO actually work in so many different areas at the same time. I said go where Soldier is going to be entering. He's going to find success. He died first, but the team around him then ended up figuring out the problems instead. But this is very winnable still by KINOTROPE. They got Toxic Babes. They kind of have Solarium and Verticality from Bathroom. If they find a kill, but they don't, they could even back the man count.
Carwell spotted and caught off guard with the Verve from Harper with the shotgun. Great work with the Ying. Akayu in a 1v3 to try and finish off this game. It would have to be a big clutch. I like this though from Help Us LFO. They're rotating Demic over onto the main window.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that's Ryder actually. Yeah, no, it's Ryder who's on that main window. Akayu knows he has to isolate the fight, and he does so successfully. Demic is now in the building, repelled into Solar. Harper supporting him. Remember, Harper does not have that LMG. He's got the shotgun, so he's going to be better in close range. Akayu was isolated one of these fights, 20 seconds to go. Demic's got the case. He needs to look to try and plant the diffuser, but they know exactly where he is. Akayu makes it a 1v1, 1v none. KINOTROPE finish off the first map in style. Dominating clutch from Akayu, a 1v3.
It's beautifully played off the information. On match point, no less. Help Us LFO need all the help they can get. That chalet done and dusted. And that's going to be a map where, on paper, when you have a lot of stress, it's good. Next map, though, James, Fortress. The big land of maybe, the big land of unknown. We gotta see Help Us LFO hit the ground running a bit faster because it took too long to settle into this one of Chalet.
That it did. KINOTROPE looking on fire. A dominant start on the attack, and to finish off the map with a clutch. There's no question the Koreans of Help Us LFO have got to get on it right now, or this series will run away from them. Fortress is coming up after this.
come out windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kit goes cold, that'll be devastating. The grenade goes through, that's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs.
Wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled optic. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it.
He gets him just in time! It's no time remaining! It is Apex Norman!
They are the best that this region has got to offer.
Map 1 in the books for KINOTROPE, but it was the second half somewhat more competitive than the first. There was a solid effort from Help Us LFO once they moved on to the attacking side. Even that final round of the game, got to give some credit to the Koreans, they had a real bite, but Akayu stepped up, 1v3 clutch, mic drop moment, great way to finish off the first game of the day here in APL North.
It was, and it shows kind of the same issue that we saw from Help Us LFO back when they were called PC Talent, where they have moments where they look quite good, quite convincing, and they have moments where it's like, what is going on? Where they kind of make one small mistake and it snowballs further and further into the round. And I feel like that's how Chalet ended. It was one small mistake that led to essentially a 3 versus 1 clutch that they suffered from. So, end of the day, gotta be better than that, but also it's the very first day, very first map.
Yeah, so let's break down what happened. I mean, I'm looking back, and of course, the first half was really where it looked rough for Help Us LFO. They lost the first 2 rounds in a row, both pretty convincing. Then they finally got themselves around. It was flawless. Yunsang had a big 3K. That was that round that we just saw a replay of for a brief moment. But then we thought that might be the moment where Help Us LFO builds up momentum, but no, it was 3 straight from KINOTROPE, leading to a 5-1 first half. Very rarely do you see teams come back from a scoreline like that.
Yeah, the thing is, even this map might be a Tiger favorite. It's like, okay, eventually Help Us LFO, they will go there as well and have their fun. But when you have that 1-5 half, you know, your mental's going to be a bit more boomed. It's feeling a bit more hopeless and whatnot. And it's just like one small mistake. Now it's match point against you. It just goes to show that you really want to get a 2-4 split, worst case scenario, and ideally go for an even 3-3. So you gotta start a bit faster.
Yeah, you very much do. And in that second half, of course, to finish it off with a 1v3 from Akayu. We actually had 2 clutches. If I look back, we had a big 1v1 from Eclair in the first half. That was on Bar Gaming. Yeah. I don't remember that round off the top of my head. But of course, the big moment was that clutch at the end of it from Akayu. It led to Akayu actually having, by far and away, the best EPS in the game, the best scoreline, and the most kills. 149 EPS, 11-5, while playing support 100% KOST rating. That's pretty insane, considering the scoreline was 7-3. Very rare that you'd see players get 100% cast in 10 rounds.
The bar round, by the way, is a bit of a bait stat, right? Because it was a 3v3 post plant that got into a 1v1. Technically, it's a clutch because you win a 1v1, but it wasn't actually clutch because, like, you know, whatever, post plant, whatnot, there's like no seconds left on the clock. But that right there, the round finishing clutch, that is a real one. That is an effective 1 versus 3, big window repel, a guy stuck in solar, and a guy pushing up the staircase.
It's funny because I feel like Help Us LFO kind of played that pretty well. Like, they slowed the round down, they rotated someone onto the main double window. These are the things that are the smart percentage plays to make in that situation. But then minor details, well, firstly, Akayu played it incredibly well by isolating those 1v1s. Secondly, he had callouts from his teammates. There was a camera pinging, yellow pinging the players inside of Solar. And thirdly, you know, minor details from Help Us LFO, mild desync moments led to them losing the round. So yeah, that caps off Chalet. Not a good start for Help Us LFO on their own map pick. Next, we move to Fortress. I don't expect it'll get a lot better for them.
It's hard to believe that, at least, because if you're not having most fundamentally sound ideas on Chalet, you know, an 8-year-old map effectively or whatever, this is a very new map, the newest one in the map pool of Fortress. So unless you've been screwing this 24/7 for the last couple of weeks since you're a new team, it's gonna be a bit more on the feelings, right? Okay, what are we feeling this round? What are we gonna do? Who has a good idea? Because there's probably gonna be some strategical gaps as expected. KINOTROPE, what they showed us is the operator flexibility in both defense and attack. I'm expecting a lot of that same style on every map, where they just play a good amount of variety in operators, and that's going to make it even more difficult for Helpless LFO, because they're not facing one problem or two problems, they're facing a new problem every single round, it feels like.
So who are the big players on Help Us LFO that need to step up? You talked a lot about how they lost their main shot caller and star player Misa coming into this stage. They made 2 roster changes, picking up Demic and Harper. Who are the big players that we need to see more of? Of course, Harper was the top fragger, 11 and 8, but you know, Ryder on the flip side, very quiet.
So I think it's mostly fair to look at the 3-man core of Youngsang, Ryder, and Soldier, because it's not fair to Harper them to go, these guys gotta join the team and just start carrying, right? Ryder, in terms of like fracking capabilities, with entering on attack, roaming on defense, he definitely needs to have like a quote-unquote better performance, if you will. And then I'm gonna say Soldier is gonna be your new kind of pillar in the team, right? That's gonna be making all the calls, be more vocal. He plays the flex ups, he saw the glass, he saw the Munty. They need to make plays around him. Whether it's him going in the building as an entry and they work off of that on when he's playing the glass, whether it's him playing the Munty and getting information for them to act off of, it has to be those 2 players. You gotta look at the core trio more than the new players right now.
So now that we've talked about the teams, let's focus up on Fortress. What do we expect out of the newest map in the pool? Maybe we'll get to that in a moment. Here we are. We go to the second map. It was picked out by KINOTROPE. They're 1-0 up in this series. And so we will go to this Fortress, this beautifully reworked map full of cheeky plays, full of cheeky moments and ways that you can set up these bomb sites. And we'll see whether Help Us LFO can make this a more competitive match.
Helpless LFO starting on the attacking side. Now, this could be another one of those like mirror ban kind of maps. I think Clash ban actually here, kind of off the rip, wouldn't be bad either. Fortress is a map with a lot of long hallways, not a ton of verticality, so fighting the shields on attack or defense can be a big problem. But also, it goes to the good old wall denial. We see a bandit instead being brought out immediately, and that is going to mean that you want to achieve your #1 step easier on the attacking side, right? If you want to breach the wall and stuff like that, there's a bandit Kai, 2 brow. It's like, guys, we're kind of cooked. We can't get in the damn building. So bandit gets banned first. Now you can just EMP with Thatcher if there's a kite on the board, and then you ban the mirror to then progress the map further towards that bomb site. So I actually think Help Us LFO, pretty good stuff right now. In KINOTROPE, targeting once more the Blackbeard and Deimos, just like on Chalet. Actually target banning both Ryder and Soldier. That's 2 of their like signature operators as well. Ryder actually has a Deimos pistol skin in the R6 like legacy skin department, where Pro League player big moments they get like a little in-game skin. He had like amazing 4K up against the Falcon / BDS roster, the Shaiko boys and all that stuff, where he had an insane performance in 9 laps against them.
Yeah.
I think that was in Manchester.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think that's the only time that Help Us LFO, back when they were PSG Town, went to an international event, aside from Reload and maybe an... Did they go to an SI?
Yeah.
I can't remember if they ever made it to an SI.
Oh my god. I don't recall either. I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
I feel like they...
Yeah. Pretty sure that was one.
SI 25?
That was one. Yeah, that was one.
Boston, perhaps. Yeah, it's been a hot minute, though, since they went international. A year since Reload. Now, just going back to the bans for a second, of course, Bandit, you mentioned, the Electro, the Wall Denial. Now, between Bandit, Kaid, Mute, and Tubarao, what's the methodology, what's the thought process with banning out this Bandit?
Alright, so Bandit is an operator where if you EMP the Bandit batteries, he can trick the wall, right? Put down another one, pick it up, put it down. So that's like you need to get either verticality, a grenade, Capital Fire, Sophia Stun in the mix to stop the Bandit. With Kaid, you can just EMP it, that's really that. And Mute doesn't really stop the walls anymore because Mute doesn't stop Ace, Selma charges, or the secondary can openers. It only stops things that are signal from the player to the gadget, meaning Hibana and Thermite. So Mute is no longer really a wall-denying archetype operator. That got changed about 6 months ago. And 2-Brow, you only really ban if you don't want to deal with it. So you can just ban 2-Brow, EMP the Kaid, but then you also gotta ban the Bandit. So Again, Bandit can trick the wall. Kite is just annoying for stalling it out. Same with Tuberao. So now they can freeze this wall for about 30 seconds. Once they start breaching it. But if you look at the attacking lineup, there is no hard breacher at all.
No, instead they're looking to leverage the shield. Ryder is actually using the Garo hook at the moment. I don't know where he's just gone, but it doesn't matter because Soldier is the first one to try and make something happen on the bomb site. He's taking a lot of damage on the blitz. Meanwhile, Ryder, he's back in the building on the back of that Garo hook, but he can't make any headway. And, well, he's going to get swung by Ayagator. Ayagator and Gatorada together now try and pick this round back up. Demic is just around the corner, inside of sight. Great Nitro Cell from Ayagator. Takes down the Planter and the Blitz. 1v2 now. The Gatorada, he's been spotted. FMG in hand. He looks to try and find one of these players at a time. Opens up a little hole in the wall. Needs to try and play this perfectly. Yunsang just around the corner. Will he swing? Gatorada wary of it. As the Denari looks to try and find both of these players. Quickly peeking, trying to bait out a swing, but Yunsang is so patient. He's got the skeleton key in hand, and the shotgun will win the fight. Help us, LFO. Already off to a better start here on Fortress than they had on Chalet.
And the way they do it is the most impressive thing about this whole attack. They did not have a hard breacher. They banned the Bandit. When someone out the Bandit counter, the Kai Tubera counter, the Thatcher EMPs, the verticality, they didn't even bring a hard breach. Instead, they play Amaru. They go for a backstab play on Courtyard. They rush in with the Blitz in the bomb side door, and somehow they actually make it work. And there are a lot of big moments in that for both teams, I feel like. First up was LFO, they go for a backstab play, and it's looking pretty good. But then KINOTROPE, they double swing. They go 2v1 and shut down that play. But then on the front side, because they got a blitz, they get inside the bomb side. So they're trading blows on the back portion, on the front portion, but ultimately, because they had numbers advantage and a 2v1 favoring the attackers, they can get a plant down. And that's where this game shines when you're in the attack. If you can get down that diffuser, even playing down in man count, but playing like a 1v2 or a 2v3, it's still favorable because you can play around that 7-second defuse timer from above, below, from far away. KINOTROPE, I think a wise choice right here. Go from bomb side 1, you play it, you lose it, whatever. Just go to bomb side B, go somewhere else. So they go to the other top floor bomb side, the games and lockers bomb side instead. The thing about this map is that it does have some similarities to that of Chalet, where you actually want to play one bomb site on top floor and then extend to the other bomb site location. So you're gonna see the same areas being played as the previous round, but instead of, you know, dying on the roam, you're gonna slowly fall back towards the side, essentially. Now, there are both direct attack rushes possible with the exterior wall, the soda window, etc. And there is the full roam clear. So again, much like Chalet, direct attack or full roam clear.
Yeah, trying to push this top floor bomb site on dorms from outside the building, outside the breach, is actually very hard. The way that these teams extend the position Carwow is in games room with this rotate into the hallway is so powerful because you can very easily prevent someone from pushing your window just to your right where that vending machine is. You can also hold onto the hallway and you can support against the breach. So it's very hard. It's such an instrumental position, but also one where you have to make sure not to overextend too much. Because if you're picked, then that can pretty much mean the round.
This is a straight out of range strat, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. You drop down old tower right now. Monty can lock down the hallway, watch the rotate. Thermite can drop behind them and then go for a breach rather on the single wall to Monty's right. That's happening right now. This is gonna cut the bomb site effectively in half. As long as Monty stays alive and keeps giving information where these players are at, then they can shut them down. The wall hasn't been popped by Thermite yet. Not sure what they're waiting for.
Finally gets popped, I believe, and Ryder's going to find the opening kill, but Kawa gets aggressive, looks for the second one, looks for the Monty, try and puts the pressure on. Revealed by the Bees, but still manages to escape back to safety. C75 in hand, as Harper leverages the angle opened up by the Thermite and finds the kill, finally finishing off the Thorn and covering the flank as well. It's a big double from Harper, and he spots another player. I think that's Ayagator as well, repositioning into briefing. These two KINOTROPE players left remaining are in a really awkward spot. As Akayu tries to rotate back in. He's being covered off from outside the breach, and Ryder will finish him down. Soldier now forcing that plan. And Gator left in a 1v4, low HP. No chance in hell he's going to get this one.
No chance at all. Up against the Monty, the post plan that we spoke about. They even got a flank cam watching him on a staircase if he wants to go for it. So instead, maybe you just call a mini tag timeout right now. Just talk to your boys about what went wrong, what you can fix, what bomb set to go to next. Utilize the time that you have right here, because this round is absolutely over. Albus LFO from the very beginning, I mean, very decisive in what they want to do, and did exactly just that. No extra frags even. Feels bad.
No, he's just going to wait patiently, and hopefully they've had a chance to talk, of course. They'll have to play with these exact same bans for one more round, and then after this next round, they'll get a chance to ban out another operator. Maybe that Monty.
The Monty.
Yeah, I do feel like that round, though, the turning moment was when that exothermic wall breach detonated and the wall into games, was it games or dorms? Games was opened up. They managed to get a double kill. So Demic dies here, the thermite, but this moment where Harper, through this breach, finds one kill onto site and then takes down the planter. I mean, that immediately you cut the site apart and you've got a plant opportunity. So it was a defining moment. And wow, it looks like KINOTROPE are actually looking to double down and go back to that same bomb site.
Yeah, but they got the clash this time. Bit of a counter pick to the shield operators and the entries, which I love. What I love about Fortress as well, it's actually probably my current favorite map in the game, and like top 5 of all time, I think. I think it's a phenomenal map. And it kind of has like some elements of like Chalet, some elements of Clubhouse, etc. I knew, and I think a lot of people who've seen Fortress being played out at SI knew exactly what was going to happen around in terms of what Hellboss LFO's attack was going to be. The second we see the Monty in tower dropping down, again, you thermite single wall, you cut the bomb site, you have one guy outside the double wall from outside the building, cutting off that portion, you pick up out the kills, you walk down the flank, Monty walks in, goes for a plant. We've seen it many times before, we've done it if you played ranked as well at a high level. It's a very, very stable kind of attack. And I love when the map can have such a clear vision off the rip. And that's where I feel like this map has some elements of Clubhouse, where when you see a CCTV defense and they're playing Maverick, Capitao, and Grenades, you're thinking they're gonna Maverick the main breach, they're gonna go into Catwalk, they're gonna fire Catwalk Rafters, and we're gonna just see how it plays out. And everyone kind of knows what's gonna happen, both the attackers and defenders, so it comes down to execution, how good you are, how precise you are, and that to me is peak Siege. Now, KINOTROPE, like we said, they got the clash. That's their big saving grace. It counters the Monty, counters the shields. So Hellboss LFO, what do? They don't bring a single one of those operators. Instead, they bring different kinds of execute, different kind of roam entry. Rider on Solid Snake gets shut down immediately. This is going to be a much harder round because now they can't just walk in for free. No shield, no Solid Snake gadget, no Dokubi.
Yeah, and credit to KINOTROPE. Not only did they look at try and fix the problems of last round on their defense, but they're also ready for a completely different kind of attack. In this case, a roam clear, a map control take, which Hellboss LFO are going for. Gator is already in position to prevent that push. Demic now using the first of his exothermics to breach open his first wall. Does put a little bit of pressure on. Gator still holding his position. Wow, great gas. It's actually going to enable Gator to make a play here, get a little bit more aggressive. Meanwhile, Yinsang's fallen, and Gator does finish off Soldier, who tries to retake the stairs. Demic is in such a world of pain. Triple kill for Gator with the DMR and the tuber out, leaving Harper all alone. And I think they have a pretty good idea of where he is. Eclair's going to spot him. Now it's a 1v5 for the Nomad.
Hey, I've seen this one before. We've seen KINOTROPE take a mini tag timeout. This could be one for Hellboss LFO because, again, you have no real chance here. Now, James, just to kind of call predictions, right? Is it going to be a Clash multi-ban off the rip? I feel like it's going to be a Clash multi-ban off the rip. Has to be.
Yeah, I think so. That said, I mean, the Clash wasn't really utilized this round, like, in terms of, like, it wasn't one of the things that meant...
And the fact that they saw it is enough, I think. It's like, okay, if they ban the Monty, which they're probably gonna do, and you play Blitz into this, it's not gonna work. Like, there's no way.
But at this point, it's like, if you're banning the Monty, which I think KINOTROPE will be doing unquestionably.
Yes.
And the Blackbeard's already banned. You know, is there really much point in bringing the Clash anyway?
Yeah, is there a need for it?
Do you ban the Clash or do you ban something else? You know, do you ban the Tuberal, for example?
Well, what's the else?
I don't know, Two-Brow, honestly, like go for breaching. Like if they, honestly, I feel like if they went for the same push as last time, like with the Monty, but you know, without Monty, you might be able to work with like a Capitao instead, right? You just need to breach that main wall onto site. You have a Capitao, have some information gathering. You could try and bring a Blitz into it if they don't pick Clash, but you get rid of that Two-Brow, and I think it expedites a lot of the process and also takes a DMR out of the equation. But no, you're right. It's going to be Clash and Monty.
You know what?
I'm trying to play 5D chess. You just called it 3 minutes ago.
I was thinking, like, the more you just kept talking, I was like, wait, you're cooking. Hold up. I'm going to get smoked on the operator band selection, but no. I like where you're going with it, though, because I think you make an excellent point. Genuinely.
Attackers need to locate.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But they are going to bring not just the Two-Brow, but also the Kaid. So they're actually doubling down on wall denial. And I feel like, you know, with no Monty, you really do have to lean into wall denial here.
Yeah.
For
I mean, I think this is exactly what's going to happen, right? Like, if they ban the Clash, you now open up the door to abuse Kaid Two-Brow and present a whole new problem. If they were to ban the Two-Brow, then you bring the Clash, which is the same issue as last round, but it just sucks because different bomb sites and different iterations, of course. This is gonna, again, KINOTROPE's entire strat on Shelly and kind of here as well, it's been, let's just limit test Hellbot's LFO's problem-solving capabilities. Because when you see this Two-Brow Kaid, you have two options, and we spoke about this briefly earlier. You can EMP against Two-Brow because you have 3 Two-Brow canisters, the solar canister that freeze the wall. But you have 6 EMPs from Thatcher. So you can go freeze EMP, freeze EMP, freeze EMP, whatever. Eventually the wall gets opened. It takes like 32 seconds, but it will get opened up eventually. So that's fine. The other solution that you have, which is arguably faster but more risky, is you play the Maverick. But, you know, torching the walls, C4s get thrown at you, etc. Like it can just go wrong really quickly. So I like this more back to basics and Thatcher Thermite, a good old year 1 season 1 type of combination. But the big issue is still the roam clear. The Monty is still banned. There isn't a blitz on the board. Can they actually get to the bomb site with enough attacking operators alive to get the wall open in the first place? That's my big question. Because there should be an active roam happening, and there is.
Yeah. It's going to take a long time to clear it. Flores opens up the external wall of dorms. And you're saying is the one to try and make his way forward. It's on the Grim. In he goes. Eclair is the first line of defense here on the Two-Brow. Ooh, like this Nitro cell from Aegator. I think it's going to be Eclair just like info quick peeking to try and give some info. But no, he's going to be forced back due to the pre-fires through the walls.
Yeah, blind call it. 3, 2, 1, boom. Well, if you actually popped it would have been a kill, probably.
Yeah, I think he's still sitting on it. There you go. A little bit too late. Doesn't find anything.
What could have been? Man, I mean, if you take out the Thermite by that blind C4, you generally might just win the entire round. Like, that's how crazy that would have been. But thankfully now we get to see the problem solving, right? We get to see that Thatcher Thermite and Two-Brow interaction where you see he's going to look for the Kite Claw and he's going to EMP it. Then we're going to see Claire rip the solar canister and freeze it. Now that takes 12 seconds. And now we're going to look at each other, deep into each other's eyes, and you need to EMP this Kite Claw before it recharges. Now, to take it a step further, what you can do on defense if you have 2 Kite Claws is actually trick them, pick them up, throw them down, pick them up, throw them down. He didn't freeze the wall.
He didn't. But instead, he decided to get aggressive, and the wall will be opened, and Help Us LFO will lap up all of the picks on the back of this KINOTROPE progression. Bit of a gamble taken, but it hasn't panned out at all. Aegator finally finds a kill. Demic will go down, but the Thermite has done his job.
Kind of reset the round now. Jungsson taking a lot of damage, injured now, and confirmed by the gas, actually. No more smokes in the attacker lineup, so Soldier and Glass is going to be mostly ineffective with the gadget. So it's back to even numbers, 20 seconds. How about a forced to make a desperate push here towards Horse?
Flashbang comes out, but Caillou manages to dodge it. Doesn't dodge the bullet, though. Caillou, we've seen him have some big moments on Chalet. He brings out the shotgun again. Ryder and Soldier desperately look to try and execute. It's Ryder who has to cover, but Soldier get off the plants. Aegator will take him down, and KINOTROPE clutch up the round. Despite losing 2 opening kills, Help Us LFO have just let their advantage slip through their fingers.
So, just kind of looking back at the round, I'm curious if KINOTROPE made the active decision to not freeze the wall further and try and catch the enemy off guard by pushing through the breach, because it was a double push. Eclair and Tubrau went C4 over the wall, pushed through, and swung. He had a teammate on his left side hallway make the exact same play together, so it seemed like a very conscious decision. But when they died, there was like, what, 40 seconds left? They could freeze the wall for 20 seconds further? It was definitely an interesting decision, and it could have worked out, and technically it did in the end, because they clutched it up. So very curious just how much plan went into that, if that information, or they just kind of guessworked it, or whatever. On the other side, I was thinking, like, you can just kite claw trick it. If you have 2 kite claws, throw them down, pick them up, kind of force out more EMPs, but that's the beauty of Siege, right? There's many ways to do one thing.
Yeah, you can still make that aggressive play, but I guess they could have delayed a little bit more time before doing so. Regardless.
Yeah, just trying to think of min-maxing, but it catches them more by surprise.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, at the end of the day, Help Us LFO did lose on time.
Yeah,
now,
that's
KINOTROPE look for another defense, but now, Pegu, things are a little bit different. They've won 2 defense rounds in a row, which means they're forced onto the tertiary bomb site. But this bomb site downstairs is actually very good. It's actually a very potent bomb site. If you can hold on to Medbay, you can pretty much single-handedly control both of the plantable bomb sites. And I saw some very heavy setup. Carwow playing Shotgun Thorn with a lot of his util invested in making Medbay his domain.
It's a bomb site that plays around a lot of the map as well. I mean, sure, you can bunker it down and play 5 guys on the bomb site if you want to. Wouldn't recommend it. But you can play a top floor extension on both portions of top floor, then drop down a hatch and fall back a staircase. If the attackers are effective at cutting off those exact rotations, you're going to be slipping away through their fingers and just constantly roaming around the building. On the other side, if you do have a good read, you're still going to spend so much time dealing with these roamers. Like, look at Eclair. The inside of games, don't get big call, exposed from the outside position, worrying about the locker door and window. But again, with that Monty ban, with the Blackbeard ban, getting inside the building is the biggest problem right now for the attackers of Help Us LFO. You're outside holding angles, hoping for KINOTROPE to swing them, rather than the attackers walking and taking that fight themselves.
Yeah, he's playing quite aggressively. Sees Harper for a brief moment. Looks for the re-peek and finds him with the SMG-11. It's a re-peek, but the shotgun comes out. Alligator good for 2. Double kill on the top floor. And Help Us LFO are no closer to putting this round to bed. Yinsang will find 1 on Gatarada, but his teammate has died as well. So it's a 2 versus 4. Yinsang is deep into the bomb site. No diffuser to speak of. That's upstairs.
He's found a gap. When they recognized the aggression upstairs, there were many more roamers than they expected after that first Dokkaebi call. But they lost so much manpower. Swing comes through. 1v4 doesn't happen. Cow and Eclair for 1 each. The roam successful. Tertiary defended. 3 in a row for KINOTROPE.
That's really brought it back from an 0-2 to a 3-2. Time to finish off this half. Help Us LFO. It's really slipped away, hasn't it? Any momentum that they had for a brief moment at the start of this map. They certainly didn't have a lot of momentum in the first map. And Pengu, let's not forget, attack is really where Help Us LFO found most of their success. They looked a lot better on attack than on defense, on Chalet. And thought they were looking good on attack at the start of this half as well. But since losing that Monty, it's been a very different story. And now they have just 1 chance to try and tie things up before they move on to the defensive side.
Attackers have located a bomb.
And honestly, I think it's very early to call, but in my opinion and feeling of playing Fortress, I do think it's attacker favored. At least if you have 2 equally good teams. Obviously, if you have like a really good team against like a, I don't know, middle of the pack team, they can just maybe be better and just beat them on defense like 5-0, whatever. But generally speaking, I think it has a lot of ways for attackers to break things apart. And it does sometimes call for acts of desperation when you're a defender, when it feels like, oh, I'm stuck in this corner. I know they're going to have this power operator or a grenade. I'm just going to die, so I might as well just swing and coin flip the gunfight. So I do feel like you're still looking for a 3-3 half here if you help us at LFO. I don't think 2 is quite enough. KINOTROPE feel like a team that has a lot of different ways of doing the same thing. Whereas some of LFO, they got the glass, they got the Monty, and when they get either banned or not being played, that is where the rounds feel a bit more lackluster. So that's why here in the final attacking round, it's gonna be the Blitz, the first appearance. With the Clash being banned away, it does leave less and less counters up, but there is most notably the Thorn. Those Razor Blooms can do a hell of a lot of damage onto a Blitz if you're not crouched and literally looking at the Razor Bloom. So Soldier has to be very careful and mindful of that.
The long-term debuff with the Thorn is really impactful as well. Soldier's made his way up the stairs. Aegator forced back, and the gas pipe is popped. Buys him a brief moment. Good support here from Harper on this external window as well. It's enabling Soldier to lap up this map control. Aegator's finally finished off, even before Demic was able to breach this wall.
Mute jammer. So yeah, again, with the mute changes, Ace can break through those walls easily, but the exothermic charge cannot. So Demic's gonna pick it right back up, maybe call Harper over instead and get that job done. Or just say, guys, it's clear. There's no roamers. Don't gotta worry about breaching the wall at all, actually. But do please remove the jammer just in case. So how about LFO? They have more or less exactly what they want, right? It's gonna be that full map clear overtake. This is the equivalent of attacking Master Bedroom and Chalet from Library. Now you're gonna get towards that office wall, or in this case, the meeting wall, which you're gonna have to breach first, and just work this layer by layer. And because we got the Bandit plate, and it's just a mute for wall denial, Ace can break through these walls guaranteed. So Helmut LFO should be in a great position of a planned execute come 20 seconds from now.
But you're right, Harper does have to rotate the other side if he wants to breach that.
Yeah.
The Thermite's not going to be able to do it. Soldier's so close here. If he gets the flash off, he can be very deadly. He misses his first flash, and the Thorn falls back. I feel like there's a good execute opportunity here in the 5v4 to help us LFO. Eclair flashed out of position. Yunsung finds his. Gatterat on the rear side. Akayu getting flashed again and again. Eclair as well, struggling. But he does find a kill. Soldier's forcing down that plant. The cover is good from Ryder. Gatterat needs to make a jump out here happen to finish off Yinsang, but it's risky. He doesn't know if there are any claymores outside this window. We know there are not, but Gatterat is the only one left. He finds one, jumps straight back inside. An aggressive blitz up in his face. The impacts might be able to kill this blitz, though. A second one will surely finish him off, and it does. 1v2 is winnable here for Gatterat. But needs to play this perfectly. Both of these Help Us LFO players are separated. Gatterat needs to clear this angle first. It's a good crossfire, though. He's going to get caught in it, and Ryder will finish him off. Help Us LFO redeem themselves with a third round to close up the half. And with that, we'll go to our tactical pause between the two halves of this game.
Take the 2-1 win!
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Oh! Got another one for Solotov. Information from the bees. It goes in. Shotgun. W7s! They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stim pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant! That's play of the year in my book.
Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the impact.
He gets it!
There's the dash! He doesn't have the confirmation. He's going back, he's not quite sure. He
Esky gotta go.
A few seconds, stick it, Ness, stick it.
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ela. He spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC. Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necroc's the final defender against Vertical. The ace. Absolute domination.
You believe in magic, Michael! Team 1 does as they win the Mexico Major!
a really good ending to the first half of Helmut LFO. They showed that they have indeed studied this map. They have indeed scrimmed it as well, because it's shown us good step 1s, good step 2s, and getting multiple plans and executes attempted and, of course, been successful. KINOTROPE, not on the ropes. They won the first map. They're doing quite well, but I'm very curious to see how this side swap will play out.
I'm excited just to see how teams continue to use these tactical timeouts, tactical pauses, tactical breaks. What are we calling it? Because it's not really like, it's not the same as a tactical timeout that's called those hits.
It's the mid-game pause
sesh.
segment.
That sounds terrible, bro. Can we think of a sexier way to say
better
it?
term?
Yeah,
we gotta workshop it for sure.
What does it call it in the rulebook, I wonder?
Yeah, that's a good point. It could just be a scheduled timeout. I think that's what it said on the top bar in game UI. Like a scheduled timeout, because it's like set in stone.
New 120 seconds roll swap timeout match setting occurring at the end of round 6. So it's called the roll swap timeout.
Okay, roll swap timeout.
Fair enough. Which is funny because we don't do it again in
roll swap.
Yeah, which doesn't really
in overtime.
make sense. I don't know. Yeah, because if it was a side swap timeout, in theory we'd do it in overtime as well, right? But we don't, so
let's get really technical with this one. Yeah?
I feel like
how dare they not word it with 100% accuracy?
I feel like halftime timeout or halftime pause is the way to go.
Halftime timeout right now.
Halftime pause.
Sure.
Tactical halftime pause. Something like, I don't know. You got to get tactical in there, I reckon.
It's very important. We've always had the separation of like, we have Amaru Aruni Asami, right? That's a bit of a mouthful when you play in the game. Now you have like technical and tactical timeout. That twists my brain sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like obviously they're very different from a technical issue and a tactical timeout. But in my brain, I always get them twisted whenever I'm talking.
Yeah, no. I relate. Well, of course, Helmut LFO finally, after 3 rounds of not finding any success, they close up the half. We're even. KINOTROPE move on to the attack. Now, on Chalet, they went 5-1 on that attacking half, and they used that Bullet Snake really well, especially in conjunction with the Deimos. They look scary, neither of which have been banned here by Helmut LFO, and both are in play in the first round.
I'm a little bit curious here on the value of Solid Snake. As I said, a very new operator. I haven't played much of it, but if you look at when he pulls out the gadget, you see a circle on his gadget showing exactly the radius of the scanner, and it's very tricky to play around that, knowing exactly where those gaps are going to be. With Fortress being new, with Solid Snake being new, I can imagine this being one of the harder maps to play him on. Gatorada's outside, just using the gadget as a drone tool for the IQ, perhaps walk up that central staircase, giving information. Because mind you, Solid Snake only sees the floor that he's currently on. So if IQ's coming in from below, he can try and help IQ from above walk up that staircase. But Aigata dies.
Yeah, unfortunate for Aigata. He's been so good this game, but he's going to be quiet here. 10 kills, by the way, for that guy. New addition to the roster, and he's looking very, very good. Now Goya's going to get spotted by Eclair on that Deimos. They're going to hunt him down. Yinsang tries to get out of dodge, but is sprayed through the wall, and he'll be injured. Eclair wants to finish him off. I think he's got an inkling. I think he's got a feeling that the injures come through. He's got a nade. He could finish off this kill, or they could just focus up on the other players. But no, not going to be the case. Harper takes him down. Akayu able to trade, and looks like Ryder's just going to say, well, I'm afraid you're a dead man, my friend. I'm not going to be able to get you, Yinsang, and Akayu will finish him off.
So you're gonna cut your losses. I think it's a good call there from Helmut LFO. Again, I really think this map on defense, it comes down to the layering of the map. Because you see here, the Nari lasers, deployable shield. If you don't fall back and reinforce that meeting wall, you're gonna lose so much value. Now you're creating one more layer, one more Harpies destruction, a little bit more time for the attackers to deal with. And there's only 45 seconds left on the clock, right? So you're forcing KINOTROPE into a less than perfect position. They have 4 smoke grenades, and that's it. They have nothing else available to them right now. Now, Gatorada on Solid Snake can go over fallen teammates. Left for him. He might get up a nade or a flashbang to utilize, but there we see all 4 smokes being tossed on out. No more util from KINOTROPE.
Soldier is in a very critical position. Now he's the only one remaining. He's being shoulder peeked very well by Gatorada, but he takes him down regardless.
8 seconds.
Plan's going down. Carwow has to be the one to cover, but his head's taken clean off. And Akayu, he's faked it. Soldier has single-handedly clutched up 1v3 for Help Us LFO.
What did I say, James? Rounds will be won or lost with Soldier, right? When he's in the attack, he's the entry, getting things done there. On defense, it's about locking things down in the late round. A beautiful clutch and a huge moment for him. KINOTROPE, a little bit of selling in that 2v1. This is a very long-term debate that we've had many, many times. When you have a guy planting and a guy covering, you see it right here. Should the guy covering, Kawa on 1 HP by the way, should he be actively swinging? Because if he dies to a pre-fire from a Soldier, you're putting your planter in an awful position, right? You can kind of bait your planter, don't play an aggressive angle, let the defender come all the way inside the bomb site, maybe even let him kill your planter as long as you trade him back immediately. Because it's one of those cases where the guy planting it has a very low chance of winning. Soldier played that perfectly, I'm not going to argue that. But KINOTROPE, small blunder in decision making there at the end.
Obviously, ideal world, the guy with full HP is the one covering, and the low
That
HP
too.
one is the one planting. But doesn't matter, he got headshotted anyway. There's so many what-ifs. The round is won, and we got to give credit where credit is due. It's a big clutch for Soldier. And for the first time in a very long time, Help Us LFO are in the lead with the driver's seat. But they're going to have to deal with the Blackbeard, so I still don't envy their position.
Nope. Those damn shields, man. That's the issue with banning them, is that they just keep showing up. Ban the Monty, there's Blackbeard, ban the Blackbeard and the Monty. Now you got Blitz and Fuse. Like, you can't really get rid of them, but you can choose which ones at least they can bring. And diminishing in return, right? If you ban 3 shield operators and there's still a 4th available, you also open up everything else. All the Heart Breachers, the Glass, the Ying, the Grim, the Capital. There's so many strong attacking ops that you really need to tailor it specifically, not just get tunnel vision done. We don't like shields, therefore we ban all the shields. Because you can't. KINOTROPE, though, we said they've been very flexible. They've shown us both utility, they've shown us the shields, and they're bringing both in this one, Grim and the Blackbeard. So they got the roam clear, and they got an intel game.
Oof.
Oh, you're in...
Yeah, he again is looking very good on the Blackbeard. He might have died first last round, but he's come back with a vengeance. 12 kills to his name, and he's so deadly with that rifle behind the shield. Nice, though, from Yunsang. Man, the Scorpions have been so good for both Yunsang and Harper. These SMGs ripping KINOTROPE to shreds. He's been droned now, though, and he will have to reposition. He's very far from any potential defense of the bomb site. And so KINOTROPE can effectively ignore him, especially in a numbers advantage.
Interesting. Gonna push on forward, try and lock down that bomb site further. Also, mind you, Youngson and Ella has a spare trap and parking because the Blackbeard showing up, but he's right here in the bomb site. Knife goes up, but it misses.
Oh, good spray down, except Demic team kills. I don't know how that managed to happen. Yunsang gets completely sold, and now a 2v2 looks winnable again for KINOTROPE, especially thanks to the Blackbeard going down. Help Us LFO.
If that's not a kill.
I mean, here he is with the shotgun in hand, but Akayu actually isolates him. And you're right, the team kill has single-handedly swayed the pace of this round. Akayu forcing the plant down. Gatorada's got a good position to try and cover, ducking behind that desk, the bit of cover that he's got to utilize. Harper is being toyed with, can't find anything. And Akayu up from the diffuser will lock in the final kill. That is a devastating blow for Help Us LFO.
It's just one of those things where it's really anybody's fault, right? His teammate is sprinting in from locker door to help him with the Blackbeard because he knows his teammate is under so much pressure. But then Thorn just holds left click, takes down the Blackbeard, but also just one bullet right after confirms his teammate. Look at this right here. Look at the timing. It's ridiculous. It's perfect. He only shot like 5 bullets even. It's so unfortunate. Demic then missing the shotgun swing on the 1v1, of course, is a bit of a... Right here we see it twice, actually. Bit of an unlucky situation. But that team kill is going to make the round go from, oh my god, this is going so well, to, okay, 2-2 lock in. Right, it's not done just yet. KINOTROPE got some fight in him. AA Gate on the in-street, getting that 2 kill on Blackbeard. I mean, that was honestly the big moment for me where when you get that initial map control by the bomb, so you get the first 2 kills, For a lot of teams, that's the most difficult thing to do. But they did that the easiest. And now we're going to see how LFO do the same thing KINOTROPE did to them. Bring out the clash. Counters the entry, counters the rush, and counters those shields.
It looks like the shields are being switched off. Oh, no, actually, I didn't see that the Blitz is being switched onto. We said goodbye to the Blackbeard and hello to the Blitz. Arguably, the Blitz is even worse against that clash. The Blackbeard, at least you can put your shield on your back and just pretend to be a normal operator for a minute. But no, the Blitz, you put your shield on your back and all you've got is a pistol. So KINOTROPE really have to be cautious of this clash. They have to find a way to deal with Soldier before a Caillou is allowed to get into his aggressive positions. Ooh, Thorn traps also being a little bit dangerous for that Blitz. Of course, if he's caught in the area of effect, even if he only takes a little damage, he will be slowed and unable to sprint until the debuff wears off.
It's all about jiggling those corners if you're a Blitz main these days, due to how Thorn works. It's like a little bit slower pace. We're not rushing. We're not just sitting it head first in the building. We're kind of taking it very structured. You cover that ankle, I go forward. Okay, solid snake, get the scanner out. We're not rushing anything. We're not taking that risk. Now they see the clash. And funny enough, Soldier and the gang are going to run back towards the bomb site and say, we don't really want to fight too much on the roam despite having that movable shield. Small surprise, but maybe they think they have better odds by the bomb site with those traps and smoke whips in pocket.
Again, trying to sneak in, and he does find an opening kill.
Big gap.
To really open up the bomb site. He's found his way inside the bomb site. He's found 2 kills, and he's gifting KINOTROPE the round on a silver platter. Soldier now has to retake with the clash. The perfect operator to try and make this happen, and, well, it looks like Demic gets active with his gun, finishes off Aegator. KINOTROPE in an awkward spot as Demic finds a second one. Into the 2v2, KINOTROPE have lost the advantage that they gained before. Gatorada needs to win this fight against the player with a shotgun, does so. He wants to pick up that grenade, but he doesn't have a chance to as of yet. Soldier in the 1v2. I don't know if he's got his shield on his back he could bring out. I think he might have placed it down elsewhere.
Yeah,
Eclair and Gatorada are separated, but Eclair finds him seemingly aware of where the clash was hiding that whole time. Oh, hipfire headshot. Sorry, what?
All right.
QE one taps him fired.
No way.
All right. He's beside himself laughing at that one. That was a bloody crazy round from KINOTROPE. From Gatorada finding that entry to it being finished off like that, this is just chaos from Kino.
No, this is ridiculous. It's like KINOTROPE, they have like their plan A they want to accomplish, and then the whole run will change into, guys, I might just have a gap. Look at Aegator here. Walks in, lock a door, finds one. Plays by the shields, finds a second. And then what Aegator does so well in that round is he keeps rotating to a new location. They never knew where he was. So when Soldier got back to the bomb set as the Clash player, he's like, I don't see the guy on site. Did he leave? Did he stay? Nobody really knows. So such a good job at playing the gap, waiting for it. And then when all the defenders went back towards the bomb side, that's when the roam clearing squad came back for the roam clear. Because they were kind of AFK, just waiting for Aegator's play first to see how that was going to play out. So really well played on both sides there. Nice try from Soldier. Again, in a very important clutch position. But when you get a hit fire one tap, what can you do? Right? There's no counterplay for that one.
Yeah, 2 rounds away from finishing off the series. For KINOTROPE puts these former PSG Talon players who still seemingly wear the merch. There's Soldier with his little PSG Talon cap in a very awkward position. Help us, LFO. And so much hope we had for them. Last year, the year prior, a real up-and-coming roster, so much young talent fostered with great experience by importing coaching and support staff from overseas. We saw their debut at the Manchester Major. They played so well there. They were one of the only teams to take down, at the time, BDS, of course, the now Falcons roster. They had a few quiet tournaments since then. The gradual decline has been quite sad, quite disappointing. They got so close to qualifying for Munich, but to lose to the Australians at PAX at the major qualifier, I mean, that was kind of the nail in the coffin, right? Ever since then, they struggled to really have an impact. They didn't go that deep in the SI qualifiers for APAC. They didn't qualify for the APAC Cup. They didn't qualify for all kinds of things, you know, APAC finals, for example, in Sydney last year. And now they've got no organization. They really need a chance at redemption. And to be sent down to the lower bracket here in an APL in kickoff, I mean, it's not the way that they would want to start their year. That's for damn sure.
It's also the conversation of how good is KINOTROPE actually. I mean, there's been AirGate having some ridiculous individual performance, but it's been mad consistent, which is impressive. But I do think that KINOTROPE is actually, it's really weird to say, right? But maybe even a better team already than they were before. It could be the matchup against LFO, it could be the maps, I'm not sure, but I like the playstyle, I like what KINOTROPE are doing in the server, I like their flexibility and willingness to play all these different strategies and operators. And it's got them pretty damn good results so far, there I say it. So if they can stay consistent throughout the entire season, and this is just the beginning for them, this could be a whole new look for this organization and this roster. Right now, again, from fast attacks to slow attacks to gap finding to just roam clearing, they're taking it step by step, the IQ working things vertically. When AirGate is on an operator like IQ, it kind of shows the full picture for this round. He's off the solo roaming operator of Dokkaebi. Now he's just going to help his teammates progress the map, and once they're in a good position, then maybe he can make a play. But right now he has a job first. Assist his teammates, use those grenades, then he becomes a gun.
Now, LFO just going to keep on peeling back the layers of this defense. It's up to KINOTROPE to decide how are they going to make their execute happen. All right? I can only assume it's going to be in through Horse with the Blitz. They're not really hard committing to this roam clear as of yet. I mean, there's a lot of map to take and a lot of util invested, so it's challenging. But when are they actually going to really
they got
make
Goyo
progress?
Fire as well. They gotta get the breach though on the command the wall, and that's good. But look at this swing from Demic, literally on the breach. If he gets found out, he should be as good as dead against the operators against him. Toxic Babe tossed out down. They know just like that. Surrendering his body. That's the Toxic Babe's gone. That's plant denial. Now all they have is a singular C4 that's far away and some pre-placed Goyo canisters.
Very risky play to make this C4 from Ryder. Had to kill the Blitz, but it does miss. And now Help Us LFO are getting desperate. Oh, Claire also finds Harper, who's in an awkward spot. It has to be Soldier to make the difference in this round. He comes up from behind the tower stairs. He's right behind enemy lines. He's behind these execute players, but Akayu knows about it and shuts him down without breaking a sweat. Gatarada to rip the head off of Yinsang. A flawless round to project KINOTROPE onto not just map point, but its series point as well. On the verge of sending Help Us LFO into the lower bracket.
It's such a hard round to pick apart if you're defending that attack. I mean, what actually happened that round, teams? We have outlines, top-down perspective, and it's like, well, KINOTROPE aren't really doing anything. They're not committing to the roam clear. They're not attacking the bomb side. And before you know it, 2 can openers go off. And then I think Demic dying close by the main wall, I think that honestly had a much bigger impact than anything that we could expect. He had 3 toxic babes, only 1 being tossed right when he died, and it enabled the aggression from the attackers. They say, guys, smoke is dead. Jump in the breach, hey Blitz, push in the horse door, and we have drones for the flankers. And all of a sudden, it looked like Help Us LFO had everything to win, because they had no way to lose, to them being like, how are they going to win this round? They have no way to win it. It flipped literally off one guy making a bit of an over-aggressive play. It's about that high risk, high reward. And if you're playing an operator with passive utility, let's say Capcan, right? Right now for Soldier, you put down the bulletproof camera, you put down those 5 traps, now you can make a crazy aggressive play, and if you die, it's not the end of the world. But if you're playing Smoke, you get stronger the less time on the clock, because your gadget has much more value and significance the less the time. So if you die with Smoke, 3 toxic babes, 40 seconds, I'm thinking, what if? What if you'd stayed alive? What could happen then?
A lot of questions, but Help Us LFO can't dwell too much on the mistakes of previous rounds. They need to focus on bringing this back into overtime. KINOTROPE have looked really good today after a few years of suffering in the mid-pack of Japan and of APAC North. failing to qualify for APAC Cup to play on stage in their own country, failing to qualify for APL Finals, even failing to make it to the APAC Major Qualifier in PAX last year. These guys have been absent from the top echelon of APAC for a very long time.
Not seeing anything here.
But bolstered now with former Scars and CAG player Aegator, bolstered with former CAG player Gatarada, and Eclair coming in out of coaching Scars to now be on the active roster. These guys are looking so much better than ever before. They know how to adopt the new strategies, the new map, for example, the new operator. Aegator's been popping off on the Solid Snake. There's so many good things to say about this rejuvenated roster. And they're on the verge of winning their first game as a new team.
Yeah. They're getting very damn close to it. And we saw Aegator, how much value he's been getting just in this round alone on the roam clear, right? He's solo clearing half the map off the Solid Snake gadget. Now the vert is happening from Eclair with the Ram Boogie drones. They can just see so much of that bomb site. I think it comes down to Harbor playing mid bay. He's got Denari lasers, he's got a deployable shield, and there's no verticality above that location. So he's kind of bunkered down in a very important area, kind of in the middle, not on the bomb site, but right next to it, but he can oversee the bomb site to his right-hand side. Then we got the Yokai drones if the timer is low and Toxic Babes. So help us LFO, they have different ways to win this round. It's up to KINOTROPE to make that first play.
Harper's in the perfect position, but he's been spotted by the Grimm's Bees. Soldier's on a big roam. He's trying to prevent any late flanks here from KINOTROPE. Carwow's about to bring out that Deimos track again. He's going to spot the Echo. He wants to know where Demic is. It's a 5v5 as the plant starts to go down. Akayu starts taking a bit of damage, but he's going to stick it. He'll plant the diffuser. Die, but it's worth it. His life for the plant to go down. And now into the 5v4, the post-plant. Help us, LFO. Have to get active, but these are not good post-plant positions from KINOTROPE. Yunseng finds a big kill. Needs to get aggressive onto the next one. But Eclair up above on the verticality with the Ram is the perfect operator to prevent this retake here from Help Us LFO. The Capcan track will find a kill as well. Eclair's now found 2 from the vert. They need to go hunting to Help Us LFO as they go onto the top floor. He finds his 3rd kill of the round. It's up to Carwow now to finish it off, to send KINOTROPE deeper into this upper bracket. But he can't! He can't deny the counter defuse! And so Help Us LFO will breathe deep and continue to survive here on Fortress.
It's another barn burner of a round. KINOTROPE, they full send it in, they plant by the door, and I'm thinking they don't know what's happening. The Yokai drones are not there in time to stop it. A singular Toxic Babe was thrown across the entire bomb site, but they said, screw it, we're gonna stick it. I will go down, but the plant will be successful. We will win in the post. But there was one thing missing, and then there was one fatal error, right? The Capcan trap got a kill in the 3v3, favoring Help Us LFO, making it 3 versus 2 in that retake post-plant position. And that honestly was the difference maker, because the person who died was Aegator on Solid Snake, who was flanking the bomb site on that first floor, while his 2 teammates were up above. If he hadn't died to a Capcan trap, you see 2 defenders sprinting upstairs with Kava solo diffusing downstairs below. Not Kava, sorry, Help Us LFO diffusing downstairs. Solid Snake would have flanked him. The round is over. But because of that damn Capcan trap, it changes everything because the defuse stake is successful.
One last chance though for Help Us LFO. They might have kept themselves alive for a little bit longer, but gonna have to do it again, win another round of defense and send us into OT. The KINOTROPE, I don't think they need to be too worried about what happened last round. They did so many things right. I mean, to plant in a 5v5 in 2026 and Rainbow Six Siege is very, very hard. Doesn't happen a lot these days.
What I will say though is Solid Snake's been played more than I thought he would. You know, we played Chilean Fortress, so again, it could be a map-specific thing, could be a KINOTROPE kind of thing. It's been mostly them playing the operator, but it's been like almost every single round at this point. And it's not just one operator. It's Gatorada and Aegator both bring out the operator whenever they desire. And again, they're using both as a flank watcher, as a roam clearer, as a post plant. Like, it has so much versatility if you can use it or get into the right positions to use it, that is. But there are a couple of blind spots, right? The mute jammer, the alibi, the Capcan traps, the vigil. But that hasn't really been brought up by Helpos LFO more than a single time. So we're not seeing the counters being picked to the Solid Snake. Perhaps Helpos LFO don't deem that being necessary. That Solid Snake isn't actually that impactful right now because they don't seem too worried about it.
Like the usage of the Hibana to try and expose some of these positions in bathroom. The thing I'd be worried about if I was KINOTROPE was that clash. Soldier making his way up the hallway. Both him and Harper get detected by the Solid Snake. Gatorada wants to make a move, but I feel like he'd be a dead man walking if he tries to peek this breach. It's so small. It's being watched by Demic. Demic has cover as well. I just don't think Gatorada wins if he peeks this gunfight. Oh, never mind. Forget about me. Great flashbang, though, and it's timed well with Gatorada to take Harper's head clean off. Ryder's fallen as well, and KINOTROPE have established control of this round. Soldier now on the clash. He's in a bit of a crossfire. He has to fall back, and Demic will finally bring one back for Help Us LFO. This is a very awkward thing to be trying to do for Akayu, trying to get aggressive against that clash as a blitz. He needs some help from his team.
Yeah, I can put that shield in his back and Spirit on him, maybe go for a smoke plant, because otherwise, how are they going to win this round? Demic plants another one, and this clash is a huge problem.
Got the shield on your back, man.
It's unplayable.
Do it.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta.
unplayable unless he gets it away and he goes to try and knock the player back. But Yinsang now is trying to bait for the kill. Good smoke, though. He might be able to shoot through it. Doesn't have vision. He might be able to go for a vault, but Akai will fall. Yinsang does spray him down. And now Soldier putting that shield on the ground. And everyone from KINOTROPE will collapse. Help Us LFO have brought it back. They've pushed us the distance, and into overtime we go.
Hey, if you don't ban the clash, you will suffer the consequences. Beautifully played, like locking down the blitz, denying the planter, retaking the bomb site and saying, guys, I can check outside the breach. There's only one guy there. If you kill him, we can just completely retake the bomb site itself, and we don't have to worry about our backs whatsoever. So really well done in positioning and communication from Helpos LFO. KINOTROPE, honestly, with those first 2 kills on the board, I was thinking, that's it. It's over. They got the roam clear. They got the man advantage. They got all the things that they want. But they still couldn't close out the round. Also crazy to think that we're in 2026 now. We're seeing 2 separate F2s in the server from both the Twitch and the Solid Snake. It has been the most unplayable weapon for so many years. But this patch, it got back the vertical grip. And it is now a playable automatic weapon. No more Twitch DMR spam every single round, James. We're seeing the F2 in action. Love it.
Yeah, we're seeing plenty of it. I gotta say, I've played a little bit of the F2, and I can't tell if I'm just bad, but man, I'm still struggling, especially in long range. Close range, that thing is a machine, but it's still got a little bit of recoil on it if you want to try and thread the needle in long range. Have you been playing much F2, Solid Snake and Twitch?
I have, and I gotta say, it takes some getting used to. I feel like in your brain, you start shooting, you're thinking, there is no way I'm gonna win this gunfight. And then you start shooting, you realize, wait, hold up, the gun is kind of good now. You need to play it to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, maybe I'll do some clear house and practice my F2, because back in the day, I mean, that was the best gun in the game. Like, no question.
Yeah.
That and the AK-12, like, there was just... And maybe the R4C, but I mean, just the fire rate and the damage on that F2. What's the barrel attachment?
You saw the entry. So I'm trying to figure that out actually. Fun. So on most weapons, I play Flash Hider, and I'm very confident about that choice. On the F2, I've tried Monster Break, Compensator, Flash Hider, and they all feel good in different ways. I cannot tell what's best right now.
Interesting.
It's a hard one.
Wow. Interesting. Oh well. See what, another gun that we've seen plenty of is the C75 from a lot of Thorn players. Speaking of Thorn, Carl gets caught in the radius, so he's going to have that debuff for quite a while now. He's not going to be able to sprint. Yeah, and he's going to be vulnerable. A lot of damage he's taken now on the retreat here. Harper hasn't fully retreated, though. He's going to have to in a sec. He's about to get his wall breached. He needs to decide whether he's going to get aggressive or fall back. He's right next to that breach. Tries to escape, but he's not going to have much luck with that. I think he's going to pretty much have to play this position until he dies. The fire comes out. Wow, he does get away. That is incredible.
Quite the movement right there. I mean, Harper just min-maxing the value gain Fire, breach, grenades being tossed out as well. Half the round burned. And again, because Soldier is back on this Clash operator, you can escort your teammates back towards the bomb site, and we can kind of see maybe a repeat of what happened before. Mind you, we just saw this bomb site being won by Helpless LFO in a 3 versus 5. This time around, it's a 5 versus 5. Sure, Harbor is low on health, but put him on flank watch to enable other people to play more aggressive instead, perhaps. There are so many ways to win it. Ayagelo locking down the flank, taking down Youngsang on Central Staircase. He was just about to go for a flank attempt there on Kawa. They had the info off Soldier's Clash, so it made sense to go for it.
Problem is, there's no util whatsoever to try and deal with this Clash. There's no EMPs.
No.
And so it's forcing Kala to
fire.
go for a big rotate. Yeah, but the fire's not great because it just forces the Clash back, right? It doesn't actually kill him, doesn't actually disable him, doesn't make him that vulnerable unless he's trapped in a corner by some other way. And now Ryder on the smoke has been very easily able to lock down this other staircase. So there's not a lot of options here for KINOTROPE. Where do they try and make their play? I don't know.
3, 2, 1. You gotta go for the breach, jump in the window, go in that bomb site door. Clash can only stop one position at a time. If you just overflow the bomb site, that could be the way to win.
There's one more gas left, and Ryder's easily going to be able to use it to take down the Clash. The Elamine does come up big. Good trades, though. KINOTROPE end up ahead. It's Soldier on the Clash in a 1v2. It is forcing down that plans. Surely he's going to be able to deny it! Soldier slips through their fingers, denies the plants, and puts his team on map point.
Again and again and again, it's Soldier on Chalet playing the glass. Here, playing the Clash. Last alive, locks it down. Mind you, the Clash going to deny one area of that bomb site, right? You got meeting door, locker door, breach, the window and soda machine, and this back portion. But Soldier put down the Clash shield in such a good spot. You see it in a second here. He locks down both the breach to his left and the door to his right. So it's watching two separate angles, knowing that his two other teammates are holding the flank. It is so much value of a singular player and a singular operator. And you're right. With all this F2 shenanigans and playing, you know, Solid Snake and whatnot, they're not really getting those Clash counters. Perhaps not respecting it enough. But it has gotten them literally 2-round victories in a row on the same bomb site just off the Clash. They gotta respect it if they go back to the attack inside. We're in OT, you'll change every single round, but it's Helpless LFO looking at overtime match point. They could close out this map of Fortress right here and then take us to Clubhouse.
I'd love to see it. I mean, 6-4 was where KINOTROPE found themselves. They had 2 match points. They fumbled both of them. They probably should have won that round as well. 2v1. But the Clash has been such a challenge to deal with. Anyhow, we move across into the second final round. I mean, could be the final round if Helpless LFO can get this attack across the board. But when these teams have struggled with attack, both of them, Help Us LFO, though, they banned themselves the Clash. So they won't have to go up against that. And they have a little bit more freedom with Soldier on that blitz. Yeah. Still plenty of traps they're going to have to deal with. I mean, I don't really want to be playing a blitz up against a Denari and a Ella anyway.
Oh, it's a tough time to be a shield player if this is what's against you, right? There are so many small counters and interaction, and on Fortress, with all hallways and narrow corridors, you have to play the positional game so perfectly every second of the round once you're inside the building. So it's very mentally draining as well, playing these shield ups. Well, Soldier, you know, excellent shield player, has a lot of experience on it. That's what it takes to get the job done. Now, if you have a LFO, you kind of just go, okay, guys, let's just do our best on attack. Go for our play, and if we don't win, we'll play Clash defense and win. Like that's your mindset right now. Screw it, attack doesn't matter. We got Clash and defense. So I think right now, play with confidence. Don't play with too much fear. Just wait for the right moment right now and pick things apart. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Help Us LFO,
James.
If it's timed well, it could finish off Soldier. I think that's the priority here. Or even if you can take down Demic, that would be big.
So long.
Goodbye to Thermite, and that's no more hard breach here for Help Us LFO.
Not sure what they were waiting for. I mean, maybe they thought there's a Kai. They haven't seen all 5 defending operators, and they know they don't have any EMPs, so they're going to get blocked below. Because they never breached the wall, and it's just the Tubra that we can see. They must have missed information. Harbaldo on the backstep successful, takes down the Claire back to a 4v4.
It's an awkward spot, though, because The blitz is coming up, supported by, I believe it's Ryder behind him. That LMG,
that's all the
really
gas.
buffed. All the gas has been utilized. 50 seconds. Help us LFO. Biding their time. They know that they have a little bit more to burn as the Grim Bees go out again. Soldier needs to have a big impact, but it's Yinsang who's going to come from the other direction. He wants to try and make some vertical play happen, but no, KINOTROPE are also just going to fall back deeper into sight. They're looking to burn this clock as much as they possibly can.
They're ratting in those corners, waiting for it, but Ryder strikes first. Again, attacker's number advantage. This is good for Helpless LFO. Very good.
Gatarada's going to hide, but Helpless LFO are going to make their way inside. Soldier starts to try and force the plant down, but he reveals his position a little bit too early. A 1v2 now for Carwow to try and stave off defeat, to try and hold on to Fortress. He's got no diffuser, or rather no C4 to utilize. The diffuser starts to go down, but he's going to be able to deny the plants and find the double for Carwow. Another mighty 1v2, another massive clutch, and KINOTROPE will push this game the distance.
They're not done yet. They got one more round in them. They want to go on a clean 2-0 victory and not have to go to Clubhouse. Mind you, in these BO3s, you're going to get tested more on your map pool, your strategy, and longevity. If you can stay into a 2-0 territory and saving maps for the future of Kickoff, that's excellent. So KINOTROPE really locking it in. This C4 genuinely should have just won you the round. You're playing 5v4, no heart breach, but it gets really close. Great backstab 2-piece from Hopper. Great blitz entry again, trying to get down that diffuser. But by ratting in the corner and playing down the clock, once again, one small mistake from your opponent can be exploited into a round victory. And yes, it was a clutch by Kawa. It was a beautiful 1v2, finding the gap and finding the timing. But that's all it takes. 7-7, KINOTROPE back to the attack inside. And big surprise to me, Helpless LFO, Soldier not playing the clash. Maybe thinking this time, hey, if we do it on this tertiary bomb site, it's less ideal due to the verticality and how the bomb site works. But also, what happens if they just pick all the counter operators? Is the clash just going to die for nothing? So they're going to go away from their most successful operator and playing Valkyrie instead.
But remember, this round, when it was won by Helpless LFO, this bomb site, it was on the back of a 5v5 plant from KINOTROPE.
Yeah.
And then Eclair finding a 3k upstairs and Helpless LFO winning on the retake, right? In that 5 versus 5. It was very hard. And the clash, yeah, like you said, maybe not the focal point of a round like that on that bomb site. The clash wasn't picked at all, in fact. Last time they did successfully win on that bomb site. So perhaps they just stick into their guns. But yeah, I mean, it makes you a bit nervous nonetheless. I do feel like they're going to have to hold on to that top floor a little bit longer because once that ram gets to work, it's very hard to come out ahead.
But it's so awkward, right? Like, let's say you stick around the top floor a little bit too long, and they instead of falling back and surviving to a 5v5, you lose a player to top floor. Well, now you've lost players, and they get the Rambert anyway. So it's a really difficult fine line in the middle of staying just long enough, but not overstaying to the point where you end up dying. Because the ram, unless you kill a ram, of course, will break the floor immediately. It doesn't require, a lot of setup like the buck or the sledge where you gotta spend a good 20-30 seconds breaking apart that floor. But I think you're right in the money. Helpless LFO, they are fighting a lot more for top floor control. They're not falling back fully. They're just going one room further away, fighting. One room further away, fighting. But the Solid Snake, James, it sees everything around their location. You know there are 2 players in these hallways.
Agator's been on fire today, 17 kills. He's being hunted down. But he knows how everything is so clear. The Solid Snake is just such a good operator here. Great addition to the Team Rainbow lineup. And Gator is taking advantage of it here. He has been this whole series. He's been so deadly with the F2 as well. Now, the hunt is on for Carwow on the Deimos. Harper is down below inside of Hammam. There's a lot of safe places to take cover in this particular part of the map. But hang on a second, he's going to find a kill on a Gatarada. And amongst the chaos, Akayu's going to have to get off the plant. He does find Demic, though. The smoke on the bomb side. Looks for another one, but Yunsang from up above. KINOTROPE never cleared that top floor. Never fully. And now a low HP Carwow and Eclair, who's way out of position, are going to have to clutch up big. With Eclair going down, it all comes down to Carwow. And they know exactly where he is. And Soldier will finish him off.
They might have been fighting from behind for most of the game, but they finally come out ahead. It's a big map for Help Us LFO as they send us the distance, and we look to settle the series on Clubhouse.
come out windmilling like an Englishman looking for a scrap. But talking of a scrap, Pino!
If he goes uncontested and the kick goes cold, that will be devastating. The grenade goes through, that's the swing! Cyber and Bullet are able to get one apiece with the kit so far away, and Canadian down upstairs.
Wow, that was special.
It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off him. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Both players spotted, but the res can be made successfully.
Another one for Solotov. Information from the Bees. He goes in. Shotgun. They cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time.
He's starting to get cooked alive, Ollie, but he's using the stem pistols. Look at this from the dock. Surely not. Brilliant. That's play of the year in my book.
Plays the game, hits the old body, doesn't quite catch it. There's the
he gets it!
There's the dash! He doesn't have the confirmation! He's going back, he's not quite sure. He
Nesk, gotta go.
A few seconds, stick it, Nesk, stick it!
This is an angle that he might be able to contest. No, unfortunately, he takes just a bit of damage there. A walk, I guess, the second one. Eclipse, though, will get one, turning it into a 2v2. Now they push it on the side. The Bandit will lose out on this. Eclipse, the last alive on the Ella. He spots the head and takes him down. The ace for Waka.
He will down BC. Canadian positioning to pick up, but that's going to result in a double nade from Vertical. That's 4 for him in the round. Necrox, the final defender against Vertical. The ace, absolute domination.
Believe in magic, Michael. Team 1 does as they win the Mexico Major.
He gets it just in time! It's no time to make it! It is Apex Norman! They are the best that this region has got to offer!
Well, it certainly didn't look like it for a hot minute, but in the end, we do go the distance to a third map, Pangu. The second map was crazy. I really enjoyed seeing Fortress. I mean, I think Fortress and Lair, my 2 favorite maps to be watching right now. But not just because of that. We had clutches, we had clash, we had shield plays, we had verticality, we had all kinds of really cool stuff. Just a great showcase of both these teams.
This is definitely a highlight reel, like a proper one, because there are so many big moments, and there are big moments in small areas, and there are big moments in big areas. We had some good intrigue, double kills, for example. That's a small moment, but a big area. Then we had literal 1v2 clutches, 5v5 post plans. This map quite literally had everything. Some quick rounds, some slow rounds, and at the end of the day, good adaptation from both teams. I mean, Helmets and LFO were so dependent on the clash for so many rounds on defense, yet on the 7-7, the final round of overtime, they abandoned the clash and go Valkyrie and still somehow found a round victory, rather.
Yeah. A lot of big moments, though, from players like Ayagator. Yeah, well, also that was a gnarly one from McClare. But yeah, Ayagator in particular, 17, 18, 19 kills. Can't remember what he actually ended on, but it's just such an instrumental player for KINOTROPE. Of course, being one of the new guys on the roster, most recently playing for Scars, back in the day playing for Cyclops alongside Gatorada. Just great to see that players who have been around for a really, really long time. And Ayagator is part of that original CAG core. Both Ayagator and Gatorada are the same 5 that played at numerous international events over the years. Like, don't forget about tournaments like the Mexico Major, where they, of course, like had that infamous tiebreaker game. Oh, I wasn't there either, actually. The infamous tiebreaker game against Team 1, the Brazilian roster that ended up winning the event. Like, so many historic matches and like experienced that AeroGator has been a part of. Same with Gatorada. Now they're reunited on this roster. A lot of the time, like these big players that are on these really impressive teams for a long time, when finally the roster moves happen, these players kind of fade into nothing. And every now and then we see a reprisal, you know, players like Cantor or Ketty, who of course won a major even after getting dropped from G2, went and joined another team and did it. And it's great to see that we're seeing a little bit of life from AeroGator and Gatorada here as well.
Sure, and also just KINOTROPE as a team, right? Because we liked watching them going back over a full year into the past and thinking this could be a new team in Japan that could make a good splash. Now you got the stars, now we got the KINOTROPE, and then we just didn't. Could this finally be the time we can think of KINOTROPE as one with?
I'd love to see it. Now we go to Clubhouse as our final map. Based on the two we've seen so far, Nick, Chalet and Fortress, quite different maps. Clubhouse, again, very different. It's a lot about the hard breach. It's a lot about the power positions. The basement especially is a lot about the executes. I'm just thinking about how much clash we saw on Fortress, and I'm thinking, is that something that these guys are going to be able to abuse on Clubhouse?
So I feel like Fortress was a scrappy map from LFO, but it was a good kind of scrappy map. But Clubhouse is not about being scrappy, it's about being rock solid on the fundamentals and hard breaching. We did not see Help Me LFO find like a single wall to be broken. They kept dying on Thermite or not even bringing them. So I honestly, personally, I give the heads up here to KINOTROPE on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same, but I don't know. I was impressed with the grit that we saw from Help Us LFO at the end of that one. You're right, the abuse of the clash did definitely play into it, but in terms of like individual fragging capability, I would give that over to KINOTROPE. In terms of just seeming like they're in the game, again, I would give that to KINOTROPE. But there's just something about Help Us LFO that at the end of Fortress, something clicked, something's changed, and yeah, I don't know. Clubhouse is such a like old and steady map. You know, everyone knows how it's played. There's a million things that you can do on it. Nothing is really new. I wonder, does that lend an advantage to like the older guard? You know, arguably KINOTROPE have the players who have had longer careers, but of course they've got a lot of work to do because they've just fumbled 3 match points opportunities that they had to try and close out the series 2-0. Of course, Clubhouse is coming up. Before that, we're going to do a quick break. Don't go anywhere. So Clubhouse is up on the docket for our final map of this series. It's a big opportunity for KINOTROPE, but arguably even more so for Help Us LFO, who stared down defeat 3 times on Fortress. They fended off match point after match point to finally claim their own and then finally take us the distance. Clubhouse is where we'll finish off this series one way or another.
It's definitely very impressive, but as I said, I just think KINOTROPE have a slight advantage here in the flexibility and how many different operators they can play, different playstyles they can bring. The one thing I actually don't want to see that much of here from KINOTROPE on the attacking side, so not where they're starting, the starting defense, is actually going to be Solid Snake. I feel like Clubhouse is definitely, in my opinion, one of the maps where every single operator is so important to get picked correctly, because you need soft destruction, hard destruction, roam clear, util clear, etc. I'm not sure you can afford to play Solid Snake on Alligator every single round for roam clearing. So in 7 rounds from now, or 6 rounds from whatever, we're gonna have to keep that in the back of our minds, I guess. For now, KINOTROPE starts on Gym, on defense. They've banned out the way the Monty and the Grim, so same things you saw earlier on Chalet. Help Us LFO on the attacking side have banned both the Kaid and the Mira, speaking to, again, achieving step number 1, making the roam kill a little bit easier, and of course, making the breaching a little bit easier as well, with Kaid being removed.
Blackbeard is teased out, though. A lot of it comes down to hard breach on this map, so you got to choose which hard breaches are we going to use, and what's our method of dealing with any wall denial. In this case, there's no wall denial, like you said. The ban on the Kaid helps a lot, but you can still bring Bandit. You know, a lot of teams do as well. A lot of teams bring the 2-brow, even if it's just to slow things down. The 2-brow is also a good double as a Deimos counter if you need that. But what have you seen here?
They've reinforced the wall in Gym between Master and Gym window, where normally there's a rotate. They've reinforced the wall entirely, which means that they can no longer rotate safely between the windows. And you're also giving the attacker a possible way in to like actually go for a plant. But downstairs, Gatorada on that solo roam, under a lot of pressure on Solace, half HP already. 1 HP already.
Wow. Surely he's going to be finished off. A spray through the wall would certainly achieve it. Yinsang is covering the rotate. This surely will find it. Oh, wow. The shoulder peek is perfect, but the spray through the wall does eventually finish off Gatorada. And so an early kill here for Help Us LFO. Certainly going to help out. No more Solace to worry about in the late round. No more roaming to worry about. But yeah, I'm curious about this little bit of a departure from the norm set up on the bomb site with that rotate hole reinforced over. I think it's a power position that was created for the Jaeger, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm keen to see what they're cooking up.
is being put down, so it certainly could be a new bit of an anchor spot. But this is the thing that worried me about Clubhouse, right? Is that playing that solo isolated roam like on Chalet and Fortress isn't as consistent. It's not maybe as viable. But also, again, how often do you have a fight in the basement often in the beginning of the round? It's not all that common. But when Yungson's playing Sledge going in Dirt Tunnel, that can happen. KINOTROPE gotta play the 4v5. And look in their utility pockets, right? There are no C4s. There is no smoke. Look at that. Deployable shield on the bed, reinforce the wall behind him, and then triple ADS. 2 in front of him, 1 behind him.
Oh my god.
And he gets out. What?
Yeah, but he's now not going to be able to hide in that position any longer. Akayu, wow. 3 reinforcements of the 4 walls of Gym. Aggressive play from Akayu. He sees the Sledge playing behind that Blackbeard. Carwow will finally go down, though. The long angle from Akayu is going to be good, but not if Soldier takes him down. And Nate also finishes off Carwow. So Help Us LFO are on the verge of executing on the bomb site. Eclair's the first one to find a kill for KINOTROPE. He's going to have to delay for the next 40 seconds and come to life with some more frags. But Demek shuts him down, leaving Alligator all alone. In a 1v4, Demek will find the second as well and close the round for Help Us LFO.
You know, we can talk about how Clubhouse is a 10-year-old map and we don't see much innovation these days and whatnot. They cooked. They absolutely cooked that round, and I don't mean it in a bad way or a good way, but they did something completely different. Reinforcing this wall, triple ADS, deployable shield, there was a vision. I feel like if you want to make this big of a drastic change to a very tested bomb site, I think you need to full commit. I feel like Wamai getting in the mix there for more grenade denial would maybe fulfill that strat. Because they had just enough throwables and just enough frag grenades playing both the Sledge and the Blackbeard that they could just ADS clear, toss in the grenade, and now the Thorn's position is completely screwed. So I feel like there is some exploration that could be done, but you do also give the gym window jump in a lot more safety and whatnot. The whole round was very interesting from the very beginning, but I like seeing that kind of innovative play, even if it didn't work.
Before this game started, I said, the thing about Clubhouse is there's nothing new. There's nothing new that you can do.
Yeah, you did.
And I was very wrong. That is new. I've never seen that before. I really like it. It's a cool idea, even if it doesn't work once. Like you said, maybe some tweaks and it could work out. Problem is, maybe it won't work long term if teams figure out ways to avoid or counter it, but yeah, it's just nice to see teams trying something different. I respect that out of KINOTROPE. I assume Eclair's a large part of the voice on this squad, judging by the fact that he was coaching Scars prior to this. Probably a Caillou as well, just judging by the roles that a Caillou plays. But yeah, really cool to see.
Now for Hellboys LFO, I mean, they do have a slight fundamental advantage if you want to cast your mind back to when Fabian was coaching the 2 players in this roster, Decent Rider and Soldier. If you took some of the lessons from back then into this new iteration, that could of course benefit you. A great swing from Eclair, takes down a Rider, solo entry on CCTV, not escorted by a drone, walks in completely blind, and losing Capital this early, that is not a good look. You lose the heartbeat, you lose everything. Ibana, Ace, Capital, Jungsson goes in, good for 1, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. It's a 2v4, and there's still roam clearing.
Yeah, but the defenders have all fallen back to site, all 4 of them now into the basement. And in a 4v2, this is basically unlosable for KINOTROPE. Now, the only way that you fumble this is if you take unnecessary risks. Now, Airgator looks to try and do just that, playing on the main stairs, and he will get shut down. Yunsung forces himself straight through the barbed wire, straight through the gas, and brings it one step closer to an even man count. Still, there's no hard breach here, so I think the hatches are fully solid. This is not going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, that aspect is great. I'm like, okay, 4v2, you got like a minute and a half left. You have 3 toxic babes, Smoke just dies, Mainsters, right? Not the end of the world. You still got a solid chance of winning this round. But I'm just like, what if you just played by the bomb side? There's a lower chance of throwing it. Airgator pays the price. How about LFO? They gotta find some ridiculous shots, some good picks in this one. There goes probably the final drone. They got 2 Deimos trackers, 2 flash and a grenade to work with. They gotta make it count. That nade gets spent on the barbed wire. That's it. No more nades, just the flashes.
The first goes out. They need to try and make a move on the back of it. Soldier misses his chance. The verticality likely to be opened up here by Yinsang, just to make sure that there's no one deep inside of Armory. Oh, he's actually just above one of the players. And Soldier is able to take down a Caillou. 2v2, it's so winnable here. 1 flashbang, no, none left for Yinsang. The track from Soldier, but Carwow finds the first with a C75. Looks for another now. Soldier gets him down. It's a 1v1 on a Gatorada, who clutches it up for KINOTROPE. Far too close for Compton after that 4 versus 2. But KINOTROPE get the round nonetheless.
I mean, the Hellboys LFO, they have some good fight in them. I mean, you gotta be honest here. They've been fighting every single round. Like, they lose players early, they have a couple of slip-ups, they make some mistakes, whatever. They still make it close almost every single time. Look how it started. 5 versus 2. Jungsson finally gets that entry. Then Airgator gets reload his SMG-11, so he dies in main stairs, can't really fight back. Down to a 1v1, where Soldier thought he was gonna play Moto Door, didn't get a fair shot at that gunfight. And then KINOTROPE say, let's go bar. Just like that. We're seeing the bar bombs that getting played a little bit more. We saw it a tiny bit at SI. We're seeing it already here on the first play of APAC North. I still think this bomb site has more to offer than meets the eye. Most pro players go, it's unplayable. And I do agree to some degrees. If you play the highest level of Siege, this bomb site is so hard to make functional in professional play. But if you're playing against like the middle pack teams in your region or the one-off pocket strat, I generally do believe this bomb site can get you around victory every now and again. And especially compared to like CCTV, when like Maverick's open, Capital's open, the shields are in meta, CCTV feels even more unplayable in my mind, which gives Bar that small shot of a playability.
Just looking holistically at the series so far, Ayagate is still 27 and 18 plus 9. Akayu actually the second top fragger for his team, 21 and 14. A player that really doesn't die unless he absolutely has to. And he's now playing in a very aggressive position inside a strip. I expect he will look to try and not play his life but fall back and play the percentages here, and that's exactly right. Bar is a complicated bomb site. You have to get aggressive sometimes, but you also have to be careful not to get caught off guard. Akayu actually finds Ryder. Damn, another kill for Akayu. He's got that DMR as well. I mean, he's just continuing to peel back. He's not letting himself get overexposed. Help us, LFO. Need to try and clear out this Aruni.
They're really outplaying that Chalet Fortress roam style here on Clubhouse, holding their map control for as long as possible. There's a bit of a different attack as well from Help Us LFO, right? They're going to take and strip, bathroom hallway, just a back portion-oriented attack, which means the verticality could be a problem later on, because they're mostly outside the building or on the first floor. As long as IQ stays alive by the bomb site here on the Aruni, there's no pressure anywhere. So Help Us LFO, they gotta rotate, go back upstairs, attack gym, attack master bedroom, get that verticality, avoid the Race of Blooms off the Thorn. They also pop the gas pipe on the wall. That'll instantly kill a shield player if you're nearby. So gotta be careful.
Soldier's actually about to walk into a crossfire. The timing could not have been worse for him. Gatorada finds one, traded back by Demic. That's a worthwhile trade if you're Gatorada. You've taken down the shield. 3v4 now
I mean,
for
this
the
attack
attack.
has no teeth, James.
Yeah,
They're nowhere.
what do they do about it?
Demic now down.
Feeding one by one, unfortunately. Harper's now just baiting, hoping for a kill, and this is going to be awkward for Yinsang as he finds a face full of buckshot. Ayagata gets aggressive and then swings for another one. The top fragger of the series has eclipsed 30 kills across the 3 maps, and he's not looking to slow down anytime soon. KINOTROPE starting to build back a little bit of momentum, but there's a chance for Help Us LFO to get back into it now with this next operator ban.
I'll be curious what it's going to be, actually, because I think you can go multiple directions with this one. I don't know if they think that Thorn is a problem. If they're banning Thorn here in Clubhouse, it seems like a bit of a troll, but it has been like one of the big entry stoppers, essentially. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a troll. Valkyrie Thermite. Valkyrie is interesting to me, actually. Like, IQ Thatcher, very playable. It's kind of the IQ. The Valcams themselves, at least from our perspective, I don't feel like have actually been getting that much value because most of the fighting is happening at the exterior of the building on the roam. So it's not like the vertical C4s are a problem or the entries are getting yellow pinged. But if you go back in time to when Ryder died going in CCTV and stuff, maybe they just feel like they're constantly being watched because there's always a defender where we're going. When in reality, KINOTROPE was just like roaming very aggressively, essentially. So either way, it's less verticality to deal with. You don't gotta play the IQ anymore. You can loosen up that lineup. It's not a bad play at all. But I do think that the difficulty attacking against KINOTROPE, and maybe even defending against them, they play so many different operators in very quick succession. Which operator is actually the problem? We all know if you play ranked and you ban operator every round, Deimos gets a 4K, we ban Deimos. Oh, Echo sub the Planter, we ban the Echo. You ban the most current problem. But here, you ban 2 operators, you play 3 full rounds, then you ban the final one. But if KINOTROPE bring 3 different problems in 3 different rounds, which one's the actual problem? And what if they have a 4th one they haven't considered yet? It does make it difficult.
One thing I'm liking from KINOTROPE, separate to the operator discussion, is just how much they're playing these defenses very actively. Look at Carwow now on the Solus, constantly baiting for info. He did see just for a brief moment there was something detected. And, yeah, he could go for this, but no, Soldier's now safe up on the balcony after rappelling up. But
nope.
Well, never mind. He's not safe to Ayagator. 5 kills already in these 4 rounds. Doesn't matter what operator he's playing, doesn't matter what gun he's got, he's just farming. And yeah, I think, wait, maybe you're right. Maybe he literally
I mean, he rappelled up to Jacuzzi balcony, right? Either the wall was opened up already by the defenders and he just had a 50-50 gunfight, or he just straight up said on the wall and just took him out clean. Because Soldier didn't fire a bullet back. It was a one-sided gunfight.
No. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if Ayagator just got a spray wallbang. He's on fire. Lady Luck's on his side.
He's in peak form. And another 5v4. Make that a 4v4. Demic takes down the Fenrir. Pretty important operator, I would say. Got some active use on switching around the Fenrir mines, of course. But the roam game still seems to be the biggest problem, where KINOTROPE is just playing in so many different locations, right? They're playing in bar, they're playing garage, they're playing construction. There are all these isolated 1v1 gunfights across the map that can happen. LFO ideally right now just go together, right? 4 people take garage, and 4 people fight this guy over there. Don't just seek out the individual fights, because you got the 4v4. Just gotta keep juggling the flourish from the EMPs. Think about the bomb side, right? Is it gonna be a catwalk attack or master bedroom attack? Oh man, we're never gonna get this.
Oh, this is so funny.
And again, and again. Oh, I got it.
This is such a meme, bro. I love
the forest timer every time.
Yeah. He's just got this infinitely. Ryder at least has a little bit of a suspicion that Carwell's going for our flank. I had a feeling that, oh my god, we're just going to keep hearing the sound
still going.
for every 5 seconds for the rest of this round. So Carwell has the rotate ability of going in through stock. At some point, Akai is going to have to get off this camera and help the rest of his team because, well, 2 players have died. Now Akai finally taken down. Well played from Demic. He times it with the detonation of the Flores drone. Aegator, though, he continues to be the man of the hour, finds another one. Harper makes it a 1v1. Carwell now has to deny this plant, but guess what? He's the Solus. He can go down below. He'll have info, but he'll see that it's on top of the desk. He might not be able to get an angle. I don't think he will. Actually does a little bit of damage onto Harper. Low HP. The round is surely over. Harper has to fake it. He's on top. And now Carwell just needs to get the angle.
Oh.
1 bit of damage. It's a headshot. And the clutch is found for KINOTROPE.
It's beautiful. Again, there are some things in Siege that are just so frustrating to be up against, and they happen by chance, right? One of them is when you're up against a Solus in a 1v1, you're trying to plant the entire bomb site is soft. The other one is when you're up against a Monty 1v1, and the bomb has already been planted. It just doesn't feel like you have a fighting chance at a clutch. Helpers LFO will call it tag timeout. I think it's well timed. They've played 4 rounds. They gotta figure things out and try and get at least 1 more attack on the board. At least 1 more attack on the board.
What is Carwell wearing? Looks like some kind of headband. It's like the most anime headband I've ever seen. Oh, it's Help Us LFO that need to be chatting right now. A lot to think about. Insun giving us his best thinking face. The Koreans have got a lot of work to do. It's been a bit of momentum now. 3 rounds straight for Kino. How do they get back into it on the attack of Clubhouse? I mean, well, they're going to know now pretty much that it's very likely to go to Church Arsenal. I mean, what? It's been a defense 1 of Church and then Bar and now CCTV. So it's either going to be Gym and Bedroom or Church.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
It's going to be
bombs as
Church.
they can.
It's going to be Church.
Oh, this round was over before it even started, really.
Yeah, that was the roam clear gone wrong. It's, I want to see Helpers LFO just play a bit more together. Like we see it here, right? 1 person goes for the swing, 1 person goes for the plant. Earlier that round, same story. Helpers LFO is almost... Oh, they're either getting caught off guard by KINOTROPE's aggression in 1v1s, which is fair, or they're happily matching it, saying, I'll fight you 1v1. And I don't think on Clubhouse that should be your approach very often, unless you're winning it very often. Helpers LFO have played every single round, starting off more or less in a 4 versus 5 or a 4 versus 4. They haven't really had the upper hand just yet. And when you're losing an attack, I mean, look at the attack and lineup every round. No matter who dies, you're losing some incredibly high value. Either your soul shield, your soul heart breacher, or your soul heavy utilus or vertical clear. The only person that can die this round on attack that's like not the end of the world is Harper playing Solid Snake. But if he dies really early, then the roam clear becomes more difficult. So there's no good death. You need your players alive, use those drones, cut off the rotations, and just utilize Soldier on the Blitz.
Yeah. And look, just to add to your point, like, it's not like we want to bring a useless operator so that we're, like, not sad when we die, but the thing, there's something psychological about it's like you just knowing that you have the freedom, it doesn't matter if you die.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like it when teams have redundancy. Like, let's say you're playing Hibana and Ace, or Hibana and Thermite on a map where it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of hybrids. You only need 1 of them, right? Then you just have more freedom. Like, a Hibana player might see a gap and be like, hey, I'm going to make make a play, and I'm going to do it with no fear because
Yeah.
I know if I die, it's okay. My teammates still got it.
That's a good point. And that's also why those can openers on Capital Rider right now, they are so valuable. Like, if Hibana dies, you can still play out the round because you got 2 hedges that you can pop. But if you don't bring a set of can openers and just the Hibana, now Hibana is just a drone bot because you cannot afford to take a gunfight. So redundancy is very important. Harper on Solid Snake feels similar. He's the one to entry third tunnel. He can pop the scanner, see if anyone's there, open the door and go for a rush. The circle is red, so there's at least one player, but he doesn't know exactly where they are until he goes for a scan. But they're mute jammers, and that's gonna make it seem like it's clear, but it's actually not.
Oh, and here we go.
Pop.
For some reason, didn't destroy the barricade, but Soldier can easily knock it down. Carwell's low HP, but in a really instrumental position. He has no more of the Razor Bloom shells to throw out. Kayu's really the main player in this instrumental position deep inside of Arsenal.
I mean, the takedown, mute below the vert. The thing is, I don't know that he's here exactly. Another scan right now coming from Harper. Now they know.
Oh.
They don't know.
Yeah, and he's able to find a kill. The blitz really has no impact this round, and now Harper tries to make something happen, but has absolutely no luck whatsoever. In a crossfire, 2 players peeking him from blue and deep inside of Armory. It's desperate now for Help Us LFO. KINOTROPE look like they might have locked this one in, but Demic's been picked back up. Him and Ryder both low HP.
Yeah.
20 seconds. How do they make this work? Akayu on the main stairs gets aggressive, catches Youngsung off guard. Both of the remaining attackers are now so low on HP. They have to do the very unenviable task of making their way down these hatches. Ryder will find one, but he's traded back. Demic also finds one.
5 seconds.
Makes it a 1v1, but the Thorn Traps will make him meet his maker. KINOTROPE have just won 4 rounds straight, and they are gunning for yet another 5-1 splits.
Double Thorn Trap on the barbed wire head drop. That is so toxic because when you pair the Thorn Trap with any sort of slow mechanic, whether it's going to be Clash Shield, Melusia, barbed wire, you actually guarantee that you do a fair bit of damage because you cannot physically move far enough away from them to the point where you're safe. So that's a guaranteed kill right there. It started off pretty well from Help Us LFO. This showed us a very clear strategy, right? They're going to have Blitz and Solid Snake inside a third tunnel. They can smoke off the door, hit the scanner, and direct Blitz through the chaos and say, hey, there's a guy over here, that's where you're going to kill. But then, like, the door didn't get opened by the grenade, the kept on fire, only one got used, a couple of gunfights didn't go the correct way, and all of a sudden, again, a good plan, a good idea ends up being a round loss. And that has honestly felt like the story of Help Us LFO, a little bit on Chalet, and also a little bit here in Clubhouse, where there is a good idea, but one small thing goes the wrong way, or a little bit of missed execution, and that round victory potential goes away. Again, if you can refine these strategies and keep experimenting and playing with them and getting better and better and better at it, these are the kind of rounds you can win very easily in the future. So I like the innovation, I like the use of Solid Snake actually, something that we've not seen before. Of course, Good Operator is brand new.
Where did A get to take that damage from? I didn't see that.
Bro got shot.
Yeah.
Must have been around kitchen because he's playing like kitchen entrance.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was sticking his head out the kitchen window, kitchen hallway door, going for an aggressive spawn peek. Good drone work. Elamine is spotted nice and early. Ooh, yeah. Just gonna get the angle onto
Angles
it.
be angling. So finally, in the first half, I mean,
yeah, I'm impressed by KINOTROPE, Nick. Wow, I just want to say for a second, I mean,
Yeah.
4 rounds in a row, they've won bar. The only bomb site they have lost so far is the gym and bedroom, where they went for that really unusual strat with the reinforcements on the gym wall. Like the only round they've lost. And they're so confident in their bar that they'll go back to it. It tells you a lot about how confident KINOTROPE are on Clubhouse.
It's that, and also, like, I think they recognize just how poor of the previous attack was from Help Us LFO, like going strip club, going bathroom, not getting any verticality, and that's why we're seeing the complete opposite now. They're doing like the default attack, 5-man CCTV, breach the wall and connector, and now you have 2 choices. Either you just hold the connector right now for the hatch and you go downstairs and plant, or you take the full top floor control. Looking at the rotations here in that player outlines, they're obviously doing a half clear. So they leave one guy watching the flank top floor, and then 4 people can work together at attacking from main door, maybe kitchen hallway, or sending a guy down basement flanking main stairs. That's gonna be your attack, and it's a good attack. The only downside is that KINOTROPE knows what's happening, because this is the default way to attack the bomb site. The one ace up their sleeve is Rider on glass with 3 smoke grenades. So that can be doing some good work. But look at this, they've retaken the verticality. This means that Helpless LFO's downstairs attack is now going to be limited because they got the hatch above them.
Yeah. This is why most attacking teams will try and breach this wall into construction from cash. Carwow's found a kill from all the way down below inside of stock as well. Now they need to go hunting and Demic will find it. Yeah, it is very weird. But see, with this wall to Eclair's right solid, he's completely free to play above the hatch and deny a lot of the default plant positions.
I mean, the issue is glass died. That was, as I said, like the win condition, right? You gotta smoke it, play with glass, now you gotta run in, plant in the smoke, and just YOLO it. But you lost the top floor control again.
Yeah, Claire is going to have to try and find an opportunity to plant. He does drop in the perfect timing, denies the plant. Harper and Yinseng, Yinseng doesn't even find anything. Akayu catches him right when he sneaks into the backer side. Harper left upstairs. He was meant to be the player to prevent Eclair from dropping that hatch. He didn't even achieve that. Nice shot to finally get Eclair. But, well, KINOTROPE have got the last laugh. It's a 5-1 dominant half here on Clubhouse defense for KINOTROPE, replicating what they did at the start of Chalet. And the onus is on Help Us LFO to make a comeback now. We'll break it down after this quick break at the halftime. Another dominant half in the books for KINOTROPE. But Help Us LFO, we've seen them come back from big deficits before. They did it on Fortress. They staved off 3 series points. Now they can't afford to make any more mistakes. One more round and KINOTROPE will have another series point opportunity. Pengu, Help Us LFO have struggled really so heavily on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I feel like this game could have easily been like 3-3 on Chalet and 3-3 here in Clubhouse. So they make sure of Help Us LFO having some very, very, honestly, tiny errors in their setup and attack versus KINOTROPE playing excellent level of siege, combined with APL being an incredibly good individual player this entire BO3 so far, has just made this a big divide. 5 on Chalet half, 5 on Clubhouse half, and it was a max overtime loss for KINOTROPE on Fortress. Like, this has been their game the entire way through. So, I'm looking at this and going, I don't want to say like, oh, don't worry, help us LFO, they're going defense. Now they're gonna do this thing, and that's gonna make KINOTROPE, you know, unable to attack, and now they're gonna make the comp. It's like it just feels like from the very beginning. Look at the map video. Look at the first like 3 or 4 rounds of Chalet. That KINOTROPE, they were gonna win Clubhouse if we got there, and we've gotten to Clubhouse, and they're hardcore winning it because they just have the better elements for a map like this. You know, as I said, operative flexibility, strategy. They went bar twice, and they won bar twice. No one does that. They are playing their own game of Siege at a very high level, and it's obviously going to be a difficult thing to challenge as a newly found team in Help Us LFO that have 2 new players on the roster.
Hey, look, Help Us LFO have 2 new players, but KINOTROPE have 3 new players, so you cut them a little bit of slack as well. They do still retain the identity of the old KINOTROPE roster. Well, okay, fine. You want to jump in and defend Help Us? Say it.
It just feels like, you know, when you're the team with new players doing funky stuff, it's easier than if you're the team with new players against the funky stuff, because you know what they're doing. Like, what are they doing, you know?
That is a very good point. Look, KINOTROPE have always been known for doing funky stuff. They were one of the original teams to do the Glaz smoke a wall, Maverick open the holes in the wall with the Glaz already looking through it, but Vegator going down early, that's a very good kill for Help Us LFO to find. It's the top fragger in the entire series going down.
This is kind of the area where Solid Snake has a hard time, okay? When you know there's no alibi, mute jammers, or vigil, you get very, very clear information with the scanner. But alibi clones will show up like a real player on the Solid Snake tracker, and if you have a mute jammer that you're standing on or a vigil, you don't show up at all. There's no indicator that anybody's there. So you will sometimes find yourself being, oh, top 4 is there, guys. You walk in, you get shotgunned by mute. Oh, guess there's a jammer there, you know? But you don't know that. That's the issue with Solid Snake, is if you don't have some drone information to supply him with, you can't just walk into your own grave. So now they're playing that 4v5 off the rip, but they still have ways to pick apart this round, right? They got Captains of Fire, they got the Yink and Delas, and they have some flashbangs. So if Help Us LFO leave a gap somewhere or don't have, you know, proper plant denial or crossfires, this round is wide open.
Here comes an execute though, perhaps it's a bait. No, spray. Gets the injure onto a Caillou. Good cook, though, from the Capita. Epidemic just runs straight on through it. And Soldier will take down Eclair, who tried to vault on through that rotate hole. Unsuccessful. Caillou is going to bleed out. Nope, Insang's going to finish him off. It's Carwow up against the world. And at this juncture, KINOTROPE really just need to say GG and go next round.
Well, while we're saying GG go next round and just talking amongst each other, we can talk about Scopos, because people are going to say, well, Scopos might see some more play in the coming play days. And I just want to reiterate that we said in the very beginning of this broadcast, Scopos did receive almost like a mini rework, if you will. The gadget now teleporting from the active shell to the idle shell went from like 3 seconds to like 1 second. Like, it's significantly faster to change your active robot. Meaning you can do capital fire, grenades. You can actually play a little bit tighter on the roam because you can teleport away almost immediately as well. So playing a bit more risky. And then secondly, Scopo also now has the same punching mechanic as a Rooney. So you can actually play Scopos, and it's not just like, you know, you're gonna run upstairs and roam top floor, and you're not gonna do any side setup, you're not gonna reinforce any walls. No, you can punch a rotate like a Rooney. You can open up hatches on the roam. You're no longer stuck and being limited by your 2 impact grenades in pocket, and you also can help your teammates who might need some shotgun assistance, right? So just mind you that Scopos is actually more of a team operator now than a full-on solo player. So keep that in mind. Also, this rotate was not made correctly, so Hibana couldn't vault it, and actually worked for the defenders in their favor. So that's pretty funny.
That's actually a strat, man. If you're a defender, you deliberately make bad rotation holes so that the attackers try to use them and then die.
Okay, so honestly, if you could find a way, and then you could, like, this is possible, to make rotations in a very specific way, where any gun can shoot a small portion of the wall to open up the rotate. But if you don't shoot it, then you can't use it. Then you can create a one-way rotate that you know you can create, but the attackers might not, and you can actually force issues like that. Yeah. The downside is if you're in a hurry as a defender and you want to use the rotate, you can't. So there is a downside to it. And it's like,
we seek to make like a one-punch rotate.
Yeah, no, exactly. The same with prepping a caster barricade, right? You know it's prepped. They might not know it's prepped. And it's the same with when you have a rotate that's very safe to use in general by the defenders that the attackers are never going to reach. You make it either a crouch rotate or a running rotate, like standing. But if it's a highly contested area, you make it a vault rotate. Because if attackers have to vault through it, they can't shoot, they make a sound cue, etc. And that's why you sometimes in Pro League get some rotates are vault and some aren't. Because if you ever fear an attacker going there, you don't want to give them the advantage of making a running rotate.
Yeah, 100%. Well, as we dig into this round, KINOTROPE have just spent the last, 50 seconds just preparing, opening up some walls, droning out some areas, but they haven't really taken any map control. Every player is still outside. Of course, they're going up against the gym bomb site, which is the one bomb site they could not successfully defend. But there's a lot to be done here. You need to clear out CCTV to prevent the defenders from peeking that balcony window and killing you if you're outside of Master or Gym. They haven't successfully done that as of yet. They've spotted Harper playing on the rafters.
If they want to, could make a quick play against it, maybe. Meanwhile, Youngsang scanning below, seeing a guy droning. Is there a play to happen here? Yes, there is, but he gets what? He gets turned on! He comes off the drone, baits it, gets the kill. Okay, and just like that, the round is wide open once more.
Oh, and Soldier's just been downed as well. He tried to get active on the clash. He tried to play from behind his shield and go for some peeks, but Aegator shut him down. Now he's injured. Not much for him to do. Carwow will finally fall, though. So a first kill for Help Us LFO might help them a little bit. But they are still quite exposed, and they know it.
They can't get Soldier. Like, there's no way they risk it. There's two people watching it at glass. They got the fuse shield, primed for a plant position maybe on that gym window. Now they confirm Soldier's information. He was giving away 2 players' spots the entire time. But then there's the Warden. These smoke grenades, they work against you, but they also work with you. Depending on where you are. They're so patient. And he's hurt the fuse shield now as well. So now they know that they want to work that gym window. They want to work Jacuzzi Breach. So Help Us LFO, they have all the right information, but can it deny it?
Oh. And it looks like Gatorada's just spotted Harper and Ryder. And with Eclair finding that kill on the Demic, the round is open for KINOTROPE. And surely the game is as well. It's up to Ryder now in a 1v4. He finds the first kill, but he needs a hell of a lot more than that. He's been spotted from a player inside a logistic office. It's Eclair closing the net, tightening their grip on this round. A good flashbang. Ryder is full white. Kai's forcing the plant down. Ryder backs off, goes for a kill, finds the headshot onto Eclair, and the injure onto Gatorada. It's a 1v1 against the shield, but Akayu gets active with the pistol, and the round belongs to KINOTROPE. Series point now in their hands.
Again, what looks like an easy 3v1 lockdown becomes an intense 1v1 post-plant. Fuse shield pistol up against a C4 Tuberal, who was only, of course, using his secondary because he ran out of bullets. It started off right here. Youngson, I got the play, guys. I'm gonna get the freebie. Gatorada hops off the cam, gets the wallbang kill essentially with that impact grenade going off. Soldier getting injured, dying on Jacuzzi Breach. And then the brawl by the bomb site. Look, 3 solo canister, 1 C4. I think Fuse recognized either I go for the ADS swing right now while he's giving me space, or I'm forced into a really awkward position. I can't jump back out the window, and I'm not comfortable playing against a solo canister slow plus the C4. So I think they made the right play. I think KINOTROPE, again, they have a really good read, and they found a good way to stabilize that round in that 4 versus 3 where it got a bit awkward for a few seconds.
Yeah, so many rounds this series have been like that, though, Pangu, haven't they? So many rounds have been, 4v1, yeah, this looks good. I think they're going to lock it in. Oh, down to a 1v1. Oh, they did lock it in. But it took getting to that 1v1. You know, there's so many exit frags that have been found. Impactful exit rounds, you know, failed clutches, you could call them. But, yeah, I mean, we've also seen some successful clutches, especially on Fortress earlier today.
Yeah. It has definitely been an unpredictable series, and while we have seen like the 5-1.5s that technically are one-sided, the individual rounds of how we get there might not share that exact same story. There's some exciting moments in between.
Yeah.
Now for KINOTROPE, you're up 6-2. You know, you can go for a rush, kind of throw the round into the bin. It doesn't matter. You can play with confidence. You can also just like choke out your opponent. Nice and slow. Get the breaching, drone them out, use the capital, get the opening pick, and just pick them apart every step of the way. It's once again the Clash and the Warden that are going to be the most important operators for the defenders. But last round, that didn't help them at all. Clash, that was Soldier, died very early on that previous defense.
Oh, Insang normally almost lost his life there as well. The Clash, such an important operator to help us LFO throughout this series. And now lower HP, it means he's more vulnerable to the Capital. Ayagator, who has been the MVP for KINOTROPE across the whole series, gets aggressive again with that Solid Snake, continues to lap up information using the gadget. He's not too far away from trying to contest Demic and Harper as well. Quite a good setup here in Lounge with all these castle barricades, bulletproof as well. Candelas start to ring out upstairs, but it looks to just be a bait from KINOTROPE, trying to force some movement out to help us LFO.
That's the issue. Like, baiting movement against a Clash doesn't really work because Clash has, just like the Monty, that full cover. So whenever you're Candelaing something, Clash goes, nope, guys, it's clear, don't worry. And we also have catwalk control from Soldier and lounge control from Harper, so they have everything that they could possibly want on defense to feel safe. They're looking to make a play first. This is high risk, high reward. Again, if you lose this player of Jaeger, you lose catwalk control, and that's dire.
Oh, yeah, and one by one they fall. Help us LFO just have Demic. He's broken 10 kills in the map. He's top fragging out of everyone in the server right now. He's going to have to do a whole lot more than that, and he's spotted by Gatorada from downtown. It took KINOTROPE a hell of a long time to get there, but a 2-1 victory is just what they need to march forward in the upper brackets.
And it shows some real potential. You know, how they got here, how dominant those two halves were on Chalet and, of course, here in Clubhouse. The only place where they faltered was on Fortress, which is still a really new map in the pool. So there's some real signs of potential here for KINOTROPE once again, which is super exciting. And for Help Us LFO, it's again back to the drawing board and tighten up those fundamentals.
Big moment for this roster, which has had such a huge change, bringing in 3 new players, one of which is coming out of retirement. Another one has been, up until very recently, primarily a coach. The Scars, that's Eclair. It's a big moment. Also, the reuniting of Ayagator and Gatorada, the old CAG duo. A lot of people have been keen for it, and it's great to see that KINOTROPE, I mean, yeah, they've got the talent. It's not just these old names that maybe once meant something. They've still got it. I think Ayagator really demonstrated that across the series. Unbelievable performance.
Ridiculous. I mean, he's averaging more than 10 kills a map, I think, at this rate, right? Like, he's doing phenomenal work across the board, having so many highlight moments, especially on the attacking side, being a kind of sole roamer, finding intra-kill or a bunch of different map control, utilizing Solid Snake on the first play day is also super thrilling to watch. Because sometimes it takes a bit of time for new operators to be utilized like fully, but we saw the majority of KINOTROPE's attacks on all 3 maps actually utilize the new operator.
Clubhouse was great. A lot of big moments. A lot of almost clutches, but at the end of the day, KINOTROPE were the better team across the whole series. It wasn't just a matter of it being just on Clubhouse. Across the series as a whole, I feel like I've gotten a lot of information on how KINOTROPE play. I feel like I've gotten a lot of a flavor of what this new roster is like, but I'd love to hear from the horse's mouth themselves. So we've got Okamesh, who coaches for KINOTROPE, here on the line. Okamesh, first of all, congratulations on your victory today. A nail-biting one. Far too many match points, too many overtimes. It took a long time, but congratulations on the win. First of all, I wanted to ask you, how is it coming back to KINOTROPE? Of course, you were playing with KINOTROPE a very long time ago. You've been since coaching for a few different teams. What led you to being back here with KINOTROPE?
I hear Okayu is my best friend in the game, and then he needs to rebuild the KINOTROPE after they lost in 2025, and then he asked me to join back. And then this time as a coach, like when I was player, I was a little bit like kind of toxic, but as a coach, like we can say more freely than player, right? So I'm glad to be back as a coach, and it's very comfortable position.
Nice. That's just lovely to hear. I love seeing, of course, a player turn coach because you have a very different perspective and unique abilities, of course, having that player experience. I'm curious on your thoughts on Solid Snake. We saw you guys play him a fair bit on all 3 maps on the attacking side to great success. Do you guys feel like Solid Snake in general is a very balanced operator, a good operator? What's your general feeling on this new op?
I think this operator is kind of like a little bit overpowered, but like we will be having Dokkaebi rework, right? But Snake will be like replaced for Dokkaebi, I think, because you can call and then you can like search the area. You can know the area is clear by sound, but this time Snake. That's it, I think. I mean, it's not big. it's not big difference, I think.
Okay, a small follow-up question actually. Sorry if you don't mind. Obviously today we saw no Alibi, no Vigil from Help Us LFO, and only some Mute. If we start seeing Alibi, Vigil, Mute more in the meta, that's gonna just shut down Solid Snake immediately, no? Because the information is kind of fake then, no? Surely, Alibi meta?
Yeah, I don't think so. Alibi has no big like big point, right? So
yeah,
we just spamming Snake. Okay.
And the player who was doing it a lot of the time was Aegator. Now, I want to ask you about the roster changes that KINOTROPE made. You said yourself that Akayu came to you and was looking to rebuild the roster. Now, you made 3 big changes to the starting lineup. Of course, Aegator had been playing with Scars, Eclair had been coaching with Scars, and you brought Gatorada out of retirements. You guys are looking amazing. After those 3 maps that we saw from you so far, what was the thought process between bringing those 3 players back? And yeah, talk me through what has it been like adjusting to the new roster?
Oh, okay. First, I get to bring Gatorada and Eclair, and then we build a team. Then, where I started is, I think recently, the game will be more not individual performance. Will be. I mean, we need to make a team, like really need a team. So we this time Gatorada is like best choice for building team. He's so I don't know how to say good human, good personality, and then he controls everything, and Eclair as well. He has a good personality. That's making us like very strong team, I think.
Okay, so today was play day 1. It's the very beginning. What's the goal? What's where you guys wanna end up at for this kickoff stage?
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry,
what's the goal? What's like for the kickoff for this next like month? Where do you guys wanna finish? What's the goal to achieve? Okay,
this kickoff goal, of course, it's first place. We need to get into the major. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Our team is. I think we can reach to the first place, but we need to. Of course, we have a lot of things to fix, but I think we're going to major, and then we'll be. I hope we have two team in Japan major, so we need to be so much better. Yeah.
Well, congratulations again on your first win of the tournament. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us, and good luck in your next game.
Yeah, thanks so much.
What's a jolly fellow. I gotta say, as soon as confidence, of course, saying, oh, we gotta take first place so we can go to the major. But as soon as we brought Okamesh into the interview, it's a lit up face, a smile, and so much energy, which I love to see, especially after such a grueling series. But let's talk about the next game today, Nick. Of course, we've got 3 best of 3s. Next up is Furex versus Scars. Now, this is a big game. This is a big chance, the debut of the new Furex roster after making some very significant changes, and of course, a revitalized Scars. Later on, we'll have LFO No Name take on CAG, but I'll just quickly get your thoughts on this upcoming game, Nick. Furex versus Scars, what's your vibe?
Honestly, dude, just super happy to see Furex just new life in them. You know, they were a team with high expectations, didn't quite meet those results. Now with some new support staff, new players, it could be a better look. Or if anything else, it'll be a new look, and I think that's what the team needed. Just a little bit of a